But I think the development of full artificial intelligence would spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
I don't know whether rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 6,
doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. Are we on Rockfin? What's up with the Rockfin? It's not going live here. Let me double check this real fast. Yeah, where else? We're also broadcasting on 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand, the Underground Media Network. And tonight is Christmas Eve. Yeah, right? Hey, yeah, Merry Christmas, Merry almost Christmas, all the rest of that stuff. If you're celebrating, go get it. And if you're not, if you're here with us, celebrating with us, then we'll do something a little bit different. I like to do these on the holidays, like I said, because I do recognize there's a lot happening in the world. There's some people, as I said previously, that don't have families and, you know, this type of stuff, or maybe the family, kind of is on not getting along or whatever. Like this, there's a lot of that out there, and it's unfortunate, by the way. But, just to kind of do our own thing for whatever, march to our own drummer and talk about whatever seems interesting in the moment. And I stumbled across something as I was just kind of thinking of some ideas today, as I want to do because, well, I'm just a weirdo, number one. But number two, there's a lot of ideas to consider and think about. And I was wondering about, so we typically don't do a Krampus show. Krampus, of course, is the sort of the antithesis of Santa, St. Nicholas. But Krampus happens, they celebrate on Krampusnacht, which is December 5th. And, Clyde Lewis does a big deal out of it. He does a Krampus show every year. So I kind of don't try and emulate what other people do. And, as you've learned about me, I kind of, like I said, march to the beat of our own drum here. And so we don't really do Krampus shows every year, but something caught my attention as part of this discussion tonight, because we are talking about Krampus. I'm calling this, of course, the Dark Mirror of St. Nicholas, and a Krampus as a living archetype. Now, a lot goes into it, but it's to boil it down. Well, the write-up's always going to be down below, and you guys can check that out if you're interested, and some pretty good stuff there. And also, by the way, all the disclaimers do apply. There is no truth to be found here, just some ideas, just kind of looking at the, let's say the paranormal space or the alien space, or Just kind of eyeballing the zeitgeist and trying to think about things in different and interesting ways, okay? So in this particular sense, I was just cruising through the news as I usually do. And, by the way, my bad. We should really put up the Santa. There we go. All right. Cape Orlando, Florida is where Santa is right now. We got the Santa NORAD tracker, which is in 3D now, which is pretty cool. You can see, there you go, flying over Port Charlotte in Florida, and there you go. There's Santa. Let's we'll keep an eye on Santa as he does this thing tonight. But here's the deal, right? Regarding Krampus, as I get sidetracked with the shiny website. Oh, look, Santa's in Orlando. Anyway, so Krampus, I found this article, and I was thinking, right? I was thinking about this, and this hit probably a few weeks back, maybe 2 weeks or something. But it's this one's from the New York Post, and this is what caught my mind and turned me into the weirdo I am this evening, because from the New York Post, sarcophagus of Santa Claus possibly discovered in Turkish church. Okay, report says. Pretty cool, right? So just in the nick of time, look what they did there in the article. Archaeologists in Turkey have discovered a sarcophagus that they believe could belong to Saint Nicholas, the generous Christian holy man who inspired Santa Claus. Researchers discovered the sarcophagus in the heart of the 7th century church built to honor jolly old Saint Nick, who was a 4th century bishop in the Mediterranean city of Myra, M-Y-R-A, prior to his move to the North Pole. Ha, 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 right? But anyway, so the limestone sarcophagus measures 6 feet long and about 5 feet in depth, has a pitched lid, and was buried about 6 feet underground, the Heritage Daily reports. Quote, and this is from Ebru Fatima, of Hayte Mustafa Kemal University, pardon my Turkish here. Our biggest hope is to find an inscription on the sarcophagus. This would help clarify the burial contents and allow us to determine the exact period it dates from, which there's good reason to suggest that at least partially the bones of St. Nicholas might be in this sarcophagus, which is kind of cool, right? It's not only is it timely for the season, interesting and whatnot, but it did ring something sort of in my mind, which was the old paranormal trope of not disturbing the dead. Right. And so clearly it's one of those things that's probably going to be argued about for a very long time, because some people are like, well, it's archaeology, Mike. And some people are like, no, that's our ancestors and they should not be disturbed. And I can see both sides of it, but disturbing graves in the paranormal folklore is not a good thing. Okay, it's not a good thing. So put that in the back of your mind for the moment as we begin and get back to Krampus. So they did find, supposedly, the sarcophagus of Santa Claus or Saint Nicholas in this Turkish actual, what was it? The old temple that they created for Saint Nick. Okay, and there's actually let me tell you just so we are all on the same page here. I peeled this out and looked it up because I wasn't exactly sure if this was possible, that this was going to be real. So let me read you just a quick rundown on the bones of St. Nick. So the remains of St. Nicholas, the 4th century Christian bishop who inspired the Santa Claus tradition, have an interesting and complex history. So St. Nick died around 343 of the Common Era in Myra, modern-day Demre, Turkey, that's D-E-M-R-E, where he served as bishop. His remains were initially interred in a church there and became a popular pilgrimage site. In 1087, Italian sailors from Bari, B-A-R-I, orchestrated what's often called a holy theft. Huh. That's an interesting term. During a period of political instability in the Byzantine Empire, they took most of Nicholas's bones from Myra to Bari, Italy, where they remain today in the Basilica di San Nicola, as you would expect. This transfer is still celebrated annually in Bari, the town. Scientific studies of the remains in Bari have revealed several interesting findings. This is according to Claude here. So the bones belong to an elderly man who was around 5'4" inches tall. They show signs of bone hardening consistent with someone who spent time in prison, which aligns with the historical accounts of Nicholas being in prison during Roman persecution. And carbon dating has confirmed the bones date to the 4th century of the Common Era, which it seems like this might be the remains here. But some fragments of the remains are scattered in other locations. Now, this is where this becomes problematic for the, disturbing the bones, the remains of our ancestors. So a portion of the bones remained in Myra. Venice, Italy claims to have some fragments. The Church of St. Nicholas in Nicholasburg, Germany has a finger bone attributed to St. Nick. Various other churches around Europe claim to have small relics. So, and also in a curious development in 2009, the Turkish government requested the return of St. Nicholas's remains from Bari, claiming they were wrongfully removed from their territory, though this request has not been granted. So, keep that in the back of your mind for the moment, and we'll get to Krampus in a second here and how this fits into the larger conversation. In the meantime, what we're going to do is take a quick break and get a word from our sponsor. In this case, that would be Human Inspiration. Don't go anywhere. Happy Merry Christmas, all the rest, whatever you celebrate or not. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. And we'll see. We might have a skeleton crew out there. I'm not exactly sure. Sometimes on the holiday streams, everybody's kind of gone. So we'll see how this plays. But aiming for a couple hours, and we'll see how it goes after that. But be right back. More Troubled Minds happening in about 1 minute after this. In a world increasingly shaped by AI, human inspiration remains the beating heart of creativity. Alien Skin by Tremble, a hauntingly beautiful piano ballad, reminds us that while algorithms can mimic art, the raw, unfiltered emotions of human experience are irreplaceable.
So here I sit, locked in my room again.
Written and composed by Jesse Ian in collaboration with Todd Smith, this progressive masterpiece delves into the depths of internalized grief and the silent toll of artistic compromise. As AI reshapes our reality, Alien Skin stands as a testament to the timeless power of human emotion and the complex beauty that only true artists can evoke. Experience the haunting beauty of Alien Skin by Tremble and support human inspiration. Available now on iTunes. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. Let us continue, shall we? Correction here. I'm not sure. These historical sources are always a little weird. Gordo over on Rumble says St. Nicholas was Greek. Turks invaded and slaughtered everyone. The mythos of St. Nick is not Turkish. Okay, that's cool. I'm not here to teach history, nor am I super familiar with it. But that's the information I have. So we'll start it as the basis anyway. It's actually kind of irrelevant to the story, meaning that we're talking about in this context the defiling of our ancestors' graves or tombs, or sort of digging up the remains of individuals that probably should not be disturbed. Okay, so I was thinking, and as you know, we like to do these wild ideas on this show. I was thinking about Krampus as sort of that living sort of dark mirror archetype of Saint Nick himself. Now, Krampus, of course, is one of those, again, he would be exactly that, sort of that shadow archetype of Saint Nick that supposedly, right, he jingles the bells, except the bells in this case are a warning. You're supposed to, when you hear Krampus's foot, he has one human foot and he has one hoof like a, like Pan or a satyr or something. Very occult-like sort of visage of what Krampus is. But all of these warnings are because he walks around and hits people with a switch. Okay, kids, bad kids. Again, in the exact opposite of what Saint Nick did, which was generous in giving things to people, and especially children, to make them happy, things they didn't have. There's a lot, right? It's complicated, of course. It's a long old history. But the opposite, of course, is Krampus, and he's sort of the demon of Christmas. And it's weird because tracing it back, it seems like it does go back to sort of the pagan roots, the pre-Christian stuff. And it does go back to the satyrs and some of these other things. But long story short, he carries around a bag, like a big bag of, why am I doing this? Let me just read this to you. It's probably better than me rambling through it and butchering the damn thing. So let me read this. I'll just read a little bit of it to you and catch you up. So now we'll talk about this and how it fits. And again, we're talking paranormal a little bit tonight, a little bit Christmas, a little bit Krampus, a little bit archetypes as it fits. But here we go. Just read it straight from the thing. Link's going to be in the description if you want to follow along or read ahead of me or whatever. Here we go. Krampus is a figure who transcends the boundaries of time, which is my point tonight. A persistent archetype that it reappears throughout the ages, adapting to the cultural and spiritual context of the people who invoke his name. Originating in the alpine regions of Europe, he is often depicted as a horned goat-like creature with chains, bells, and a sack to carry away misbehaving children, which was my point in bringing up the sack. It wasn't to carry toys in. It was to carry away, basically kidnap misbehaving children. And what became of them, well, nobody really knows. But while his presence is now most commonly associated with the Christmas season, Krampus is far older than the holiday itself, bearing traces of pagan deities, ancient rituals, and this archetypal fear, which, like I said, better to read this than ramble through it. To understand Krampus is to recognize him as a being beyond time, one who embodies humanity's universal need to externalize its darker instincts and fears. In pre-Christian traditions, figures resembling Krampus, horned, wild, and tied to the winter solstice, served as symbols of primal chaos and the cycles of life and death. Now, these traditions were deeply rooted in the belief that the world balanced on a delicate interplay of light and dark, order, and, of course, chaos. Krampus, with his menacing visage and punitive role, was not merely a figure of terror, but also a necessary counterpart to the benevolent forces celebrated during Yule, or Yuletide, of course. And so, okay, there we go. That said it way better than I could rambling through it. But the deal is that Krampus is that sort of archetypal inverse of the shadow self. So we're talking about the shadow self of Saint Nicholas in this instance. And so I was thinking, and again, this is a, squint with your mind's eye, but if we're sort of digging up at places that are supposedly the sarcophagi, whatever, because again, multiple bones scattered all over the world, supposedly of Saint Nick himself. Disturbing the dead does it cause some sort of paranormal backlash, some sort of, right? I don't know, just an idea to start us. And I was thinking about it, not just in terms of, the Wild Hunt. Yes, exactly. So the Krampus himself is also sort of associated with the Wild Hunt in some ways. It's strange. It's really strange. And another thing too, well, I don't know, I guess historically it's all over the place. So it's really difficult to say because we only have fragments and whatnot. But anyway, so back to Krampus. So the bizarre part to me is that he's got this bag, right? And instead of bringing toys, he's going to carry children away in this bag. And it kind of really echoes, and it's in this write-up if you guys do read this, it echoes sort of that Dungeons and Dragons aspect of a bag of holding. Have you seen that, where the bag itself is sort of a portal in some capacity? So we'll get to that later tonight. But anyway, so as Christianity spread across Europe, Krampus's image evolved but did not disappear. He was woven into the tapestry of Christmas celebrations, often as a dark twin to Saint Nicholas. Where Nicholas rewarded the virtuous with gifts and blessings, Krampus punished the wicked, often with his signature birch rods or by whisking them away in his sack. This duality underscored the moral teachings of the time. Goodness would be rewarded, while misdeeds would invite retribution. Yet this partnership was far more than a moral allegory. It hinted at an older, deeper truth about human consciousness, that every act of light casts a shadow. And that's a great place to kind of leave it there. But so basically the questions for tonight is this. I was thinking about it, and if you disturb, and this is sort of a metaphysics, sort of paranormal style question, if you disturb the grave of an ancestor, does it also wake up, or could it possibly wake up its shadow archetype, in this case Krampus, because they just, again, supposedly found, or possibly found, the remains of Saint Nicholas. So is it possible that we get a Krampus resurgence in the coming year, or multiple years? I don't know, just the idea to where we begin tonight. And again, Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates. If not, Happy Holidays. Hope you at least got a day off or a half day or something. And lots of stuff here to talk about. Lots of wild ideas. We got a little Dungeons and Dragons crossover with the bag of holding. We got a little bit of ancient Greek mythology with the satyrs and the horned occult sort of symbolism with a little Baphomet going on with Krampus himself. A little strange, right? It's a little weird how these themes seem to repeat themselves. And just an update on Santa Claus. He is now in Richmond, Virginia, and in about a minute. So if anybody's out in that neck of the woods, well, make sure the cookies and the milk are out, because you may not get your presents. You may get visited by Krampus instead. But taking your calls tonight if you want to be part of the show as usual, 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. Like I said, going to try and keep this one a little bit short, a couple hours if possible. So I see James is in there now, so let's just go straight to James. What's up? If you're ready, sir, welcome to Troubled Minds. How are you tonight? And go right ahead.
Yeah, glad to be here. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Loud and clear. Merry Christmas Eve to you, sir, and welcome. What's on your mind?
Thank you. Same to you. Yeah, I that's a really good question about the the remains and the grave site and everything. It's what's really confusing in a way about that answering that question, or what makes it hard to answer, is there have been reports of sightings of both Santa and Krampus from people over the years, over just any number of years, and throughout time, really. Some reports that come from more recent years, but they're memories of people when they were children who had a bit more of a surprise than a bit more of an exciting holiday than they planned on, because they saw what appeared to be either something like Krampus or something like Santa Claus, and I'm not even joking there. That these are out there. You can find them on different websites. Reports of sightings of those two figures.
Yeah, that's wild. So I didn't know that, but I would imagine, right? Because we're talking about, we talk about primordial nature spirits, stuff like this, that kind of would fit into these archetypes for sure. So it doesn't really shock me that people would see these things, actual sightings in some capacity. Somebody mentioned in the chat there, OG Skywatch, Santa better watch out over New Jersey. I've seen some memes regarding that too, which is pretty funny. But the drones, right? The drone situation happening over there. Are they setting up a sting to take Santa down in New Jersey? Like cross your fingers it doesn't happen. But okay, yeah, lots of stuff there, and I don't know, I think that the sightings make sense because we're talking sort of Slender Man-esque level of the zeitgeist, right? And Krampus himself does harken back to the ancient Greeks, again, Pan, the satyr, all the rest of that stuff, and even the esoteric sort of spooky stuff with Baphomet and whatnot. So this is again one of those ones that makes me go, okay, is this type of stuff going to become resurgent as a result of maybe meddling with our ancestors' remains, just as part of the question? But yeah, I didn't know that, James. You're teaching me something once again, as per usual. And yeah, fire stuff. Take on this or anything else. Continue. Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, no, just that I've been listening to a lot of shows over the years, and that's kind of where I heard about these things. But yeah, so I wonder now. What I really wonder too with that is what that will do, if it will do anything to have that these remains sort of examined or moved or whatever. I wonder if that will cause any changes in those reports in years to come. I don't think. I think I'd be very surprised if we get a sudden surge of them all at once. I think it'd be more likely that we would find out about them years from now. From people having experiences, but then not wanting to talk about it right away until maybe they find a place, either a group online or certain friends that are maybe into these things to discuss that kind of a sighting with. I don't know that we'd really see a big surge in sightings in the immediate future, but possibly maybe years from now.
Yeah, and so with that said as well, and sort of bringing back an old archetype here, it's fascinating that when you talk about anybody historically, even myself or whoever, right, common day or whatever, or not common today, modern day, that. You don't really know, let's say, the shadow archetype of Michael Strange, right? Surely it exists. Everybody's got one. And that the shadow self, the subconscious. And so nobody really knows it. It doesn't have like a name. You know what I mean? It's sort of implicit and understood as just part of being human. But in this case, back to the Slender Man aspect of people sort of surging energy into an idea and then sort of manifesting terrible things or even good things, prayer and things like this, Angel's Advocate, as manifesting something and an entity in some cases. But in this particular case, and this is a question for you guys tonight, because everybody tends to know exactly who St. Nicholas's shadow archetype is, and it is Krampus. And so you can't really put a name to it in many cases, like Carl Jung, what was his shadow archetype named, right? But in this case, it's almost as if there could be a surge in this as in a ley line-esque space, right? In a supernatural energy type of thing. I don't know, just throwing an idea out there. I was thinking about it myself earlier, and it just made a little bit of sense that if we're disturbing the bones of the man, are we also sort of agitating his shadow self? In this case, that would be Krampus. Just a question to start. Also, what do you know about Krampus and all the rest of it? And there we go. I think that puts us where we need to be. Hang tight, James. You're welcome to sit as long as you like, as you know. Merry Christmas to you and everybody else out there. And yeah, that's what's going on. Let's push this button right here. That's the one. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. We'll put you on the show. More with James. We got Jorge with his hand up in Discord and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. This is Troubled Minds on Michael Strange. Be right back.
Unleashed from the depths he wakes, with chains that rattle and quake, an ancient curse now untold, as St. Nicholas' grave unrolled. In shadows he creeps at night, underneath the pale moonlight. Krampus rises with vengeance unkind, a chill in the air, your soul it will bind. Woken by secrets, the darkness won't fade. In the heart of December, his wrath will invade. His eyes gleam with a sinister fire, to hunt the wicked, his only desire. Whispers echo from forgotten lore, a demonic call from hell's core. The grave disturbed, the night is his stage. In this world his fury will rage. Krampus rises with vengeance unkind, a chill in the air, your soul it will bind. Woken by secrets, the darkness won't fade. In the heart of December, his wrath will invade.
Moves now like thunder, fear in the air. From shadows he seethes, none will be spared. A dark tale unwinds, legend reborn. Krampus thrives as his rage is sworn.
Krampus rises with vengeance unkind, a chill in the air, your soul it will bind. Woken by secrets, the darkness won't fade. In the heart of December, his wrath will invade. The moon still watches silence night, where shadows twist in its eerie light. The bells jingle with a sinister chime, warning of Krampus and his frozen crime. Krampus rises, your soul it will bind. Woken by secrets, the darkness won't fade. In the heart of December.
Yeah, no, a little weird. What's up, guys? See Mindy, I see. What's up, Ricky? We got Jorge. We'll talk to you momentarily. We got Joey, Sweets, Shay, and APOC. I see you guys. What's up, Puff? We got Gordo. Y is here. Good evening, guys. Hope you're doing well tonight. If I missed anybody, sorry about that. I'll circle back around. Say hi, Liz on the coast. How are you? What's happening, folks? Over to all the other places. Good evening. We got the Robert is here. Hemp Car. I see you guys. Merry Christmas Eve. How you doing? Over to YouTube. Good evening, folks. Good news on the Rumble chat front. Restream just announced that they're going to integrate Rumble chat, so all the chats will be together very soon here. What's up, Fox River Taxi? Got first. What's up, MJ? How you doing? What's up, James? Talk to you momentarily. Raz, I see you. Good evening, guys. OG Skywatch, Richard in Texas. Blind Psychonaut. What's going on, guys? Jen in Missouri. What's going on? Good evening, good evening. OG Skywatch. MJ is here. Mr. Mission Control. Celia, I see you guys. All right. Trouble Wine's happening right now. Philip in New Jersey, I see you. Here we go. Trouble Minds right now. We got more from James, Jorge, and your calls as well. Here we go. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, DLive, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand on the Underground Media Network. Tonight we're talking the Dark Mirror of St. Nicholas. I'm thinking about Krampus as a living archetype. And if we go all the way back to disturb the bones of St. Nicholas himself, as this article suggests is happening, is it possible through a paranormal space, through metaphysics, through maybe forces we do not understand, that we awaken Krampus in some way that hasn't been done as of yet? I don't know. Going back to the old ways in terms of old forces and energies and things like this, and it's I don't know, just an intriguing idea to me. Like I said, no truth to be found here, just ideas, just trying to have fun with the season a little bit and be a little bit I don't know, creative per usual, right? But what are your thoughts on this? What's your take? What do you know about Krampus? And is it possible that if we feed enough energy, enough, let's say, internet juju, or put it on the top of mind, that we sort of amplify Krampus in some capacity, and maybe this starts to become like a Slender Man sort of archetype that is creeping into our minds, our collective subconscious together. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Anything real quick, James, before we go to Jorge?
I put a link in the show, the stage show chat there for you to check out if you want to, for some things. But yeah, I think that's possible. I think with hauntings, in some cases, people have an experience with something that doesn't quite look like someone exactly, but they can maybe figure it is because of, again, lore and folklore and stories about how someone was not maybe buried in the place that they wanted to be buried, or they were moved. So I think that's possible.
Yeah, which plays, at least from the information I got here, that it plays with St. Nicholas, because they did move him apparently, and taking him from Turkey to Italy. Again, like I said, if that's incorrect, my apologies. I'm not a historian, so you'll have to take that with a grain of salt, because I don't know. But we will say that it's irrelevant to sort of a metaphysical point. If we disturb it, first off, if, let's say, an ancestor's shadow self is known and named, like Krampus of St. Nicholas, is it possible that by disturbing our ancestor's grave or tomb or whatever, that we're also sort of awakening that shadow archetype, which we already understand and recognize? Is it a dual, you get 2 for 1 sort of thing? Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. Again, no truth, just wild ideas by dark of night. Jorge on Discord. What's up, brother? How you doing tonight? Merry Christmas Eve to you, and welcome to Troubled Minds. Go right ahead. And what is your take on this? What do you know about Krampus, and what do you know about St. Nicholas? Go right ahead, sir.
Merry Christmas.
You as well. Indeed. Welcome to the thing, man. Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Man, you got me thinking, because I was, what was I reading? I was reading one of Julius Caesar's, I forgot who wrote it, but it was around the time of Julius Caesar, when they were in the campaign with the Gauls. And the guy was saying, he was describing the Gauls. He was saying how they believe in kind of like Greek god. Like they have like Dionysus and they have Artemis, but then they're saying, I got it from Generals. What is that? The YouTube channel guy? Guys, it's a huge team. Kings and Generals or something.
Oh yeah, that's a great channel. Yeah, those guys are amazing.
Yeah, they were talking about how they were the Julius Caesar. Somebody was writing about the gods of Gauls, and then now that you're talking about this, is like that the Santa Claus and Krampus sounds kind of like the Nono's descriptions of Dionysus and Apollo. Like that Santa Claus is like Apollo, like he brings gifts, kind of like the sun brings sun and warmth and light and life into everything. But then Krampus, kind of like Dionysus, brings the darkness, kind of like creepy stuff, kind of like stalking in the night. So I was like, oh man, that's probably because like the guy from Julius Caesar, he was describing Greek gods, but then the guys from Kings and Generals, they were saying is like they were likely not Greek gods. They were just like personifications of Greek gods. Like for example, they were saying that Odin was Zeus, or I don't know. I don't want to quote them, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. What do you think about that theory?
Yeah, I like it.
Come up with,
I do like it because it does fit with Dionysus and sort of that whole forest revelry and the sort of stealing the women and all kinds of stuff, right? Corrupting people and but they did have Pan and the satyrs and all the rest of that as part of those sort of Dionysus celebrations. Bacchus would be in the Greek or the Roman, I can't remember which is which, but the Bacchanalia, right? Like that whole bit. And so Krampus is certainly from that old tradition, certainly at least in how Krampus looks and sort of the corruption of not just children but the retribution aspect. It seems like it's sort of marrying a couple archetypes from the ancient past, which is amazing. And yeah, shout out to Southampton, New York is getting Santa Claus right now. We're watching the NORAD Santa tracker to have a little bit of fun. So if you're in that neck of the woods, make sure your milk and cookies are out. But yeah, I think you're onto something here. And these as usual, right? These archetypes are ancient. And we talk about them with the shadow and the Carl Jung type stuff, but surely the archetypes of these gods and the pantheons certainly go back a very long time, and they're similar, and even possibly, dare we say, the same resonant energy that keeps getting recycled and brought back into new pantheons, even to the modern day. I mean, people worship gods all over the world in different ways. So I don't know, what does it look like? And Krampus still exists, so well, at least in our minds. So anyway, yeah, great stuff. Thanks for bringing that up. What else you got? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was also thinking about, I also followed Gnostic Informant. He was also saying how Shiva is obviously very, probably related to Dionysus. And then in Indonesia, there's a temple for Shiva, and they call him the multiple named one. And you know how like Dionysus has a bunch of names. There's Dionysus, there's Sabazius, he has a bunch of names. And I'm thinking it's like, well, was also fit that bill, was to have multiple names. It's like yeah, that's it. It's like there's like multiple, just like I don't know, all these different cultures, a very similar way of like saying this thing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
If you could just speak up just a little bit, I got you jacked to 200% on everything, and you're still just a smidge quiet. If you could speak up just a little bit right into the mic. But yeah, I'm with you.
Sorry about that.
You're good. You're good. I think there is definitely something happening with this, and isn't it strange to consider that thousands of years later, we're still possibly dealing with the resonance of the Greek pantheon as part of this, the Greek and the Roman pantheons of the gods, the ancient gods, because certainly Krampus does fit that mold back to the Bacchanalia and all that other stuff, Dionysus, as you're describing. And it makes me wonder if this isn't the only one that still exists as part of that resonant energy. I don't know, just a wild idea, but what else you got? Go ahead.
No, yeah, like, I don't know, tell you about my personal life, but yeah, it's like I used to like my dad got me into like a familiar when I was a young boy. So it was bugging him, and then eventually, that familiar, and I never knew his name, like whatever. But then I found out that people from like Greece and Rome had the same type of experience that I did, and it was just a personification of Dionysus. So I was like, oh, pretty cool. I wonder if that is Dionysus. How come we never revealed his name? But that familiar has always like guided me on my life. And
Nice. Okay. So this is not certainly not new to you. This is something that you've got kind of enveloped the resonant energy of these ancient gods, which to me is amazing that this stuff is still around and practiced. Right. That's to me. I don't know. As you know about me, I think we shouldn't forget the old ways, and that's a very good way to do it. Is to kind of look at the way things used to be done, and maybe bring them back. Maybe there's something to them. And I think there's a movement in Europe where it was a big to do not too long ago, maybe in the last decade, where they were talking about sort of trying to re-recognize the ancient pantheon of the Greeks and the Romans. You familiar with that? I know we did a show on it probably a year ago, but I can't remember the details. But there was some sort of movement where they were talking about it. Yeah, go ahead. Love to hear it.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I can finagle my way around a little Greek. Like I'm not like expert or anything because I studied like a little bit of ancient Greek and a little bit of Latin in college, and I follow I follow a couple of groups on Facebook that they are trying to revive it, but the more I read like sources, it just doesn't do it justice. I mean, it's like not to like talk bad about them or anything. I think like what they're doing is amazing, and I want to support it. But it's just like the way in which the ancient gods were worshipped during the time of like Socrates or even like you know Marcus Aurelius, for example, where they're like just kind of like carvings of his when he's like sacrificing a bull in Bacchanalia, uh, going way far back to like even the Iliad, and it's like the laws now cannot allow us to do that, and it's like the ancient like the Holy Roman Catholic Church or the Holy Roman Church, just like it really just exterminated all. It's just like for example the Eleusinian mysteries. That was like, you want to believe in God? That's it. You're gonna go see him.
Yeah, they shut it down.
Come back.
Yeah, they murdered them all.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but it, like the Eleusinian mysteries is like you're gonna go see God, and you're gonna talk to them, and then when they're gonna, it's like there's no longer an aspect of belief. Then it's like, oh, believe in Jesus and you'll be safe. No. I'm gonna take you there. I want to bring you back. It's like that's powerful. That is like legit. It's like that's where the cookie crumbles. None of that. Like, oh, believe in me, grace. No. You just had the cookie crumble.
Yeah, there's a lot. You know this. There's a lot of that throughout history where it's my way or the highway. Oh, you don't want to believe? Well, we'll send you to your God then. Good luck, like that type of stuff. Just brutal. The brutal annals of history, as I always say. It wasn't a good place to be. Again, so thank goodness for 2024 and the coming days, which hopefully are better. We stop butchering each other the world over. That stuff is so frustrating and grotesque. But again, back to the human and the shadow self. Krampus, what do you got on that? Is this something you're familiar with, or kind of a new idea, or is this I don't know? Like I said, everybody kind of comes from a different place here, and I know a little bit about it only because I do this weird show and we talk about it every season, just ever so briefly, right? But I've never it was never part of my childhood, my upbringing. Like we were never like whispered that Krampus was going to come get you. But there are places in the world supposedly where this is happening. You ever familiar with any of that, or as part of your childhood or upbringing?
No, not part of my childhood, but I every year we do a Christmas thing because one of my kids has Down syndrome, so we do a little what is that called? Like a parade type of thing. And one of the teams that do that's in that parade, they dress up as Krampus and they do their thing. So that's like, but as far as like historically, I don't know that much about it. But it's interesting, like to associate him with Bacchus or with Pan. That would be like, that's really very interesting, especially to me since I am like so close to Dionysus and I have always been. In fact, a lot of the times it's like to me Jesus is Dionysus. And I don't know if you know who Nonos is, but Nonos was basically like a priest of Dionysus. And he wrote like the Dionysica, like which is, I don't know, but depending on which language you read them, either 5 volumes or 3 volumes or 7 volumes on Dionysus. And then he got the revelation of Dionysus saying, join. He wrote his Dionysica and he joined the Christian church, even though he assumed that Dionysus was Christ in his time. And, just between you and me and the rest of the world. To me, it's like Christ very much, and kind of like,
yeah.
That's why I'm a Christian, because like to me, it's like basically the same guy that I've been seeing since I was 5 years old.
Yeah, that resonant energy of again the new gods and the old gods, right? They seem to merge in a lot of ways, which to me is fascinating as hell, and why we talk about this. Santa update: Portsmouth, New Hampshire. If you guys are around that area, don't shine a laser in Santa's eyes in the sky if you see him up there. Yeah, wild stuff. Regarding, let's say, back to the paranormal bit for just a second. If we disturb the bones of our ancestors, do you think there's repercussions for that, or do you think it's again, there's 2 ways to look at it. It's sort of the materialist way. You're like, no, Mike, they're long gone. Nobody cares. Or do you think that maybe there is some sort of resonant memory of them that might care? I think it's an interesting concept to think about.
Yeah, in that Zohar, I don't know. A lot of the Zohar, a lot of the books of the Sahar. And then there's one where it says that there are 4 souls, and that are like also kind of like a tree of life, or like it breaks into 4, kind of like the Atzilut, the Bria, the Yetzirah, and the Azaya. And the Azaya, that is the soul that gets. So even when it passes, still kind of like in the bones. That's why I think like Jews to this day, like they are very touchy about like cemeteries and like the graves of other Jews, because they believe that still the neshama, the lower soul, still in those bones. And yeah, it's like going back to the ancient gods, when they made sacrifices like bulls or lambs or birds, it's like that is, I think, also something that they were kind of jiving on. They were basically saying is like this part of the soul, the neshama, gonna pass on to you to serve you. Kind of like giving a gift to somebody of like a bird, or you're giving it to a god that's in Olympus or a god in Tartarus. So that's when you like sacrifice this particular bull or whatever. When they did that, that's when they, they gave that. Even in the Bible, it's like in King Solomon's temple, it's like they sacrifice a lamb, or they're sacrificing. It's kind of like giving it to the gods so the god can enjoy it in the other. And so that's the way I see kind of like, the ancient bones of the past.
Yeah, I feel you.
The Jewish way.
Yeah, I feel you that there's the God's energy within it, and so you could argue that too from a scientific perspective, in that there's still DNA in the human remains, right? And so that becomes, I don't know, an interesting thing regarding, we're talking about sort of, de-extinction of species at this point. And so we have human remains all over the world going back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So I think there is something to that idea, even from a scientific perspective, because we might be able to, dare I say, blasphemy, I know, resurrect through DNA. Let's say they do find the actual confirmed remains of St. Nicholas. Maybe St. Nicholas returns to us. You see? So I don't know. I think there's something to it, whether you want to call it metaphysics or science in this case. There's, it gets spooky, doesn't it? It gets spooky. What else you got? Anything for him, James? Well, we got you guys on here. You guys can talk to each other. Anything on that, James? And then now back to you, Jorge. You got as much time as you need.
Just that there have been people reported having experiences with different deities and gods and figures. I think I mentioned this maybe a couple nights ago, one of the other shows recently. People have reported having experiences with major figures throughout history, religious or otherwise, after they passed, and or in cases where it's a god, quote unquote god, just having experiences with them, just having sightings of them, either in dreams in some cases, but sometimes not even in dreams. So that doesn't surprise me that there's connections there between the various names of maybe similar or the same beings that are still seen.
Well said. Well said. Go ahead, Jorge, on that or anything else. What else you got? We got about, just to let you know, 5 or 6 minutes left. Derek, top of the hour, as you know. Go ahead, Jorge, sorry.
No, I like what you were jiving with, the DNA thing. Because, people find seeds, and they're still able, from 2,000 years ago, and they're still able to resurrect a tree or something. And then we are able also to get genetic information from people having been able to get genetic information from some bone in Pompeii. So it's yeah, you're right, it's or maybe the Jews are right, or not the Jews, but the Sahar is right, where the, there's still information, there's still, something there that can awaken something, and that is why we're able to kind of have extinct plants come back to life because of seeds, maybe genetic information. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it feels like it, right?
I like what I like what you're jiving with. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it. And again, go back. You guys know that that they did that specifically for the pharaohs for possibly that reason, sort of the eternal life maybe wasn't, the Book of the Dead and sort of the psychopomp and, crossing over. Maybe the royal treatment of the burial was to preserve the DNA so we could actually physically bring them back in the future when that technology became available. So, and again, I know at this point it may or may not be science fiction. I look at Dolly the Lamb and how come there's no other recent examples that made all the news, because I think they may have buried it and they aren't talking about some of the probably dark experiments they're doing. But if they cloned, I don't know, they found like actual DNA of like Ramses the Great or something and brought back Anne Rice the mummy, like this became a real thing. I think as part of the larger conversation, it is, again, not just human resonant energy, but it is the source code of the individual that we can now sort of decode, at least enough to maybe even clone. And it gets weird, doesn't it? It gets super weird. What else you got? Go ahead, sir.
No, now you're going to be thinking, like, I don't know. I was watching also, who was that? I listen to YouTube all the time when I'm doing driving to work or anything or everything. I forgot who was this guy. He was saying how there's like the Council of Foreign Relations, that they are basically meddling with archaeological sites like Göbekli Tepe and what is the one in Indonesia? Mohenjo-daro or something.
Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, Mohenjo-daro. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like the one with the big. It looks like black, like basalt pillars or something. Yeah, like they were saying that that there are like a few scientists saying it's like, well, why don't we excavate it? Why don't we like make it into a tourist attraction? Why don't we do anything? Of course, the government, no, we're not doing that. That's not to do. And then they realized that these people were like always invited into the Council of Foreign Relations, and also people that are associated with the Council of Foreign Relations, they just either kind of like face parts of the archaeological sites that like the most ancient ones, like Göbekli Tepe or this one, the one in Indonesia. And then like if there are bones there that need to be excavated, and we somehow or find something that can somehow trace us to like a root culture, because it's like there are root cultures everywhere. It's like usually the most ancient stuff is more advanced than the stuff like 1,000 years afterwards, or 2,000 years afterwards. Like something happened in the beginning where people were so advanced and they had a connection with nature, and they had a connection with something where like there are pyramids all over the globe. They're in China, they're in Indonesia, they're in Mexico, they're in Egypt. They're just all over the place, and there's a reason why, say, it's like unquote, they want to hide that stuff from us, to like, for us to not to find out who we truly are. And so, yeah, that's also kind of like goes from the past,
Yeah.
Who are they? And we're not even allowed to know who they are,
In a lot of cases, yeah, or it's just been lost to history, and in this case, which again which made my tinfoil tingle when I was thinking about this idea earlier, which I thought it was worthy of a show here, is that what if we do know the actual sort of names of these ancient ancestors, or even their shadow archetypes, which has been named Saint Nicholas and Krampus. I mean, we're probably going to be hard pressed to, for any famous figure historically to say, well, we know that person, but we also know who sort of their actual antithesis might be, and even name it. In this case, it's very much it might be a modern construct, of course, but it's very much a direct, specific, pointed thing. So I don't know, makes me wonder. Metaphysics, the paranormal stuff, souls and whatnot, like I said, it just depends on what you believe and how you look at the world. But I do think that there are, resonant energies still here with us in a lot of ways. Got about a minute left. What else you got? Go ahead, sir.
No, that's it, brother. I'm wishing him a Merry Christmas and everything. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for putting up with those lonely people up here because my wife's working. Yeah, man, thanks for what you do. Merry Christmas to everyone. Great one. Happy New Year. Yeah, man.
And you as well. Thanks for staying up late with us. Be safe out there, and Merry Christmas to you and yours as well. And we'll talk to you very soon. Hopefully before the new year, but if not, a Happy New Year to you as well. Have a great one, brother.
Brother, have a good one.
Thank you. That's Jorge on Discord. Again, making friends all over the world with all manner of different ways of looking at it. And that's exactly the point. Quick Santa update. Montreal, Quebec. 1 minute, 50 seconds countdown. So if somebody knocks on your door or comes down the chimney, don't be spooked. It's probably Santa Claus. Yeah, great call from Jorge. Appreciate that. Taking your calls if you want to be part of the show tonight, talking Krampus and this sort of metaphysical idea or disturbing the bones of an old saint. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does your intuition tell you? Because I'm not exactly sure what mine's telling me. My tinfoil is tingling, but what does it look like? 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. More with James here, the paranormal expert at Troubled Minds, Salcedo Paranormal. We got Derek the Night Stalker coming up and your calls as well. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Don't go anywhere.
In a cryogenic slumber, lost in the lunar night, your face a faded number among the stars so bright. Dreams of forgotten echoes, waiting for time's command. Curtains of gray and sorrow, the lonely lunar sand. Below the moonlit sky, of the love we try, silent by your where ancient souls reside, suspended in a story, kept in the cold dark tide. Our futures in the making, silver-edged domain, hearts kept in silent aching, till we meet once again. We are awakened below the moonlit sky, to the fragments of the love we try. Frozen time we're resting, waiting for dawn's embrace. Whispers of love confessing in this forgotten place. We are awakened below the moonlit sky, to the fragments of the love we try.
Hello, friends. We got Mindy here. What's up, Ricky? Jorge, thanks for the call. Great stuff, brother. Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. We got Don, Joey. What's up, Philip in New York? Shay, APOC, Matt Sal Sweets, and Michael W. Daryl in New York, and Derek the Night Stalker, and James. We'll talk to these folks momentarily. Hope you're well tonight. If I missed you, sorry about that. What's up, Hemp Car and the Robert over on Rockfin? How you guys doing? What's up, Magus here? Gordo, I see ya. Good evening, guys. If I missed anybody, just say hi. I'll say hi back. Doing my best to keep up with all the things and keep a coherent thought. And anyway, no excuses. I should be pro at this by now. So if I'm not, well, Get better, Mike. What's up? I see you, Christy, in the chat. What's up, OG Skywatch? What's up? Cubes is here. How you doing? Lanessa. What's happening, folks? I hope you're well tonight. Fox River Taxi, how are you? Beer and boneless wings all day, at least in America. What's up, Cubes? How you doing? Who did I miss? What's up, Jen? I see you there. Good evening, Christy. I see you. What's happening, folks? Blind Psychonaut, how are you, Shane? Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. If you don't celebrate, find a reason to celebrate. Why not? Just a little bit. A good thought and a good vibe goes well with anything, right? What's up, Railvin? How you doing? I see you there. What's up, Chip? Yeah, the annals of history. Yeah, funny guy. Yeah, all right, cool. Here we go. Trouble Minds coming up in about 15 seconds. Derek the Night Stalker, more from James. We got Daryl in New York, and of course your calls as well. I see you, Liz. How you doing? Happy holidays to you. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening right meow. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're talking about Krampus. But could a figure like Krampus truly exist beyond the folklore itself, acting as a supernatural arbiter of balance, harvesting energies, and guiding souls through unseen realms? And also, the possibility of this entity being woken up by the disturbance of the grave of St. Nicholas himself. I don't know, a lot of things in play in my mind, and of course, metaphysics, astrotheology. Shout out OG Skywatch. I love that term, astrotheology. I'm going to have to put that in my back pocket. What does this look like? Again, the world looks basically opposite, depending on who you ask many times. You know, the secular materialist would say, no, Mike, this is all nonsense. We're, sure, we have energy within us, but when we pass, and that's a wrap. But, the religious fundamentalist would disagree entirely and say, no, that resonant energy is called a soul, and it does persist. And not only that, it moves on to some other place, or in some other folks would say it recycles. And, there's a lot of ways to look at this. And that's why, as I said, as part of these conversations, I like to remain as agnostic as possible and just consider the possibilities, because you see how exhilarating they can be when you start to pepper a few ideas into it and look at them through a different lens. And that's our job here. If you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. I see you guys in the chat. Thanks for being cool and chill. Derek the Night Stalker, what's up, brother? You're on Trouble Minds. How are you, sir? Merry Christmas Eve to you. The eggnog is flowing, you said. Welcome.
Yeah, eggnog's flowing like baby juice over here.
Nice.
What's going on, you guys? Merry Christmas.
Nice.
Stephen, Mike, Stephen, James.
You as well. Thank you. Chilling. I didn't have any eggnog, but I got the suds, so we're good enough for me. I can't drink the eggnog. It's too thick. It makes me want to retch. I'm like, ugh.
I'm crushing it. Oh, I crushed the eggnog. I didn't find it till I was like 25. Just the name eggnog kind of sounds gross to me, so I never had it. I'm a real picky eater. But vanilla eggnog, I can take or leave regular eggnog, but vanilla eggnog in particular just tastes like a melted vanilla ice cream in the best possible way. So it's not good for you at all. But I chug it during the winter months. My bulking season. Yeah, exactly. I'll stock it off during the spring.
Nice. The old wait, is that it's the Jack Daniel's stuff, right? So it's actually like it's spiked. It's actually not just a
no.
Kid
I
stuff.
don't put booze in it.
Oh, you don't?
Just the regular. No,
okay,
I don't put any booze in it.
I thought you
I'm
said
afraid
that.
to spoil the purity of it. I don't want to ruin the taste if I start throwing up the next morning after it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Ruin it forever. No thanks.
Yeah. Like cheap vodka in college.
Yeah, totally. Okay, to the point here. I take it anywhere you like. There's a lot happening here, and again, we started with the sarcophagus of Saint Nicholas, the actual Santa Claus. It looks like they may have found this. At least they're saying that. So conceptually, let's say they did. Conceptually, is it possible that they're also sort of waking up a Krampus, the shadow archetype of Saint Nick himself? Take it anywhere you like. Welcome to the thing. Merry Christmas to you, and go right ahead.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. I do have a Krampus take, and this is interesting. The Saint Nick thing is interesting. The bone, that's really creepy. And just the idea of who is that? What Santa is, or is that is Santa kind of this all father figure? Is kind of Odin? Is it Father Christmas? Is it kind of Father Time? Kind of Saturn like? It's it's a mixture of kind of all these things, plus obviously the commercialized version of it and everything. So what are they really invoking and everything. And it's trippy. So what I think kind of Krampus is, potential, and the having it be like kind of the antithesis of Santa is cool. And but I'm wondering, maybe is Santa kind of like the facade, like the kind of the way Disney kind of Disneyfied these like fairies and stuff and made them kind of like Tinkerbell for like a 70-year period or 50-year period, when for the whole rest of humanity, like the Fae realm is kind of a lot more dangerous, or a lot, not entirely, but a lot more of like, be careful dealing with these Fae trickster things. They're like dangerous. They'll snatch you up. But like Disney kind of brought them back into culture by making them cute and stuff. So the way Santa, maybe like if you kind of look at these Saturnalia, winter solstice, Yule myths, a lot of them are these things that kind of come around, these like Yule cats and these different horned figures and these different things that were all kind of mushed together and are mushed together. They'll eat you. They're like vicious. They're dangerous. Sometimes they give gifts. Sometimes, if you're lucky, if not, they're just punishing kids basically. So, and especially like the wild hunt and everything, that's what it's all about. Kind of leave out these offerings. It's kind of like a reverse Halloween, or like a Halloween for the monsters, where they go, they're out running amok outside, and you better stay indoors, because if you're out there and you see them, they're gonna snatch you up, and it's not great for you. But if you leave them out offerings like milk and cookies and that type of thing, that's the offerings for the Fae or the UFO Oreo offering thing. Like that's how you treat these entities. That seems like more so the basis. That's like kind of the root of the Santa myth. So, and kind of the jolly version of it is kind of a blip on the radar. And already, if you look at pop culture, it's kind of fading away. Like this year, we had Dear Santa, that Jack Black movie where it's actually Satan, like it's Dear Satan, basically. And Red One had Krampus in it. And basically, like if you made a movie post like 2010, you can't not have like a Christmas movie. You can't not have Krampus in it, basically. And like, well, the whole generation or two that have nostalgia for Krampus. And I wonder if kind of the facade of this kind of jolly Santa version of it is fading away, and we're kind of, the real Krampus is emerging in the zeitgeist. Like, everything I was talking about with Slender Man and the thought form tulpa mechanism and stuff, that we're kind of bringing this thing back into the zeitgeist. Its true form is emerging, and that like the true underbelly of the thing is, and that underbelly shakes like a bowl full of jelly. And also like has teeth. You know? I'm rambling. What do you think?
No, you're good. Well, that's the point, and I think people underestimate this. We don't, surely. We talk about this all the time, but that tulpa effect, or of course, the egregore in a larger context, is that we are sort of not just recycling these resonant energies of the old pantheons, but we're also creating new ones. Slender Man's a perfect example. Zozo, another one. So some of these other new concoctions that might be given new names or even adopt old names. But it makes me wonder, right? And we've talked about this quite a lot in the past. But regarding what it is, or a resonant energy sort of waiting to be rediscovered or reintroduced to the zeitgeist itself, maybe there's fewer, let's say, primordial spirits than we believe. And, maybe the pantheon is 9 or 12 or 15 or 20 or something, the Council of 9 or whatever. And they just keep recycling by injecting themselves into the shell. And the shell would be the shell of the egregore, the shell of the modern context of what it means to be a human, and sort of want to commune with something greater than ourselves. And they sort of maybe hanging around for millions of years waiting for that energy to interject themselves to it. And so in this case with Saint Nick and maybe disturbing his grave, and then Krampus as his shadow aspect, it's weird because we've never had that, at least to my knowledge, where you have an ancient figure that spawned a basically modern tulpa, which is Saint Nicholas and of course Santa Claus. But then we also know who the direct specific shadow is. So it's strange to me we got both aspects happening here. And that's the thing that made me go, this is interesting. This is intriguing. This is weird. I don't know. What do you got? Go ahead.
Especially how it's trippy, especially how like what we're talking about with the tulpa mechanism. It's like entering reality via the portal that is the human mind and the human belief. And like the more we learn about quantum, again, I'm beating a dead horse, but the more we learn about quantum physics, that the observer is constructing reality. And especially with the Santa mythology, it's all baked in with belief in Santa, belief in the spirit of Christmas is what gets this thing done. Is what fuels this entity the same way it fuels the old gods. They needed to believe in it. They needed to pay attention to it and stuff. If you watch the movie Elf with Will Ferrell, like literally the Santa meter, the power is based on people believing him. He has to go on TV and get people to believe in Santa. Or like the Santa Claus movie with Tim Allen, the kids like seeing isn't believing is seeing. Like, and that's just that. The Santa myth is the belief. Like that's every single 90s sitcom episode. It's like the one character who actually believes in him and has to convince the rest of the family to believe in him. And now for like, at least since the Krampus movie came out in 2015, so 10 years now. So like a whole generation of kids have, and it's like it's in every cartoon, like not scary versions, but like Disney cartoons. Krampus is like a figure now. Like Krampus is part of the nostalgia. It's in the mythology of American Christmas for an entire generation of kids now, and that's interesting. I kind of wrote down a more clear thing of what I kind of just said in the beginning. Make more sense in like a little 5-step process. I wrote it the other day. I didn't get a chance to use it for anything, but what do you guys think about that? And James, if you got anything, but I'll read that to kind of summarize what I said and make it less mumbly and rambly. But, what do you think?
Yeah, right on. Fire stuff I was about to say. Go ahead, James, if you got anything on any of that.
Please.
Yeah, great stuff as always. I've heard, there's this one thing I've heard a few times from different accounts that I've read and heard on shows, is that when people have encounters with, take your pick, aliens, fae, fairy, they've been told by whoever they're seeing, we can appear however we want to appear. And then in some cases, they'll even make that change. They'll even change their shape to appear as the people think that they're supposed to appear, and then change to something else. So that is, to me, really wild, because then who is really making the decisions on how they appear? Is it us, or is it them, or is it both? Or there's just that whole idea is just it's amazing, but also that's a bit unsettling at the very least.
Yeah, like the story shaping reality, the story shaping the phenomena and stuff. It's trippy, and so like the crux of the theory is like the return of the wild hunt, basically, and that's kind of the similar through line between all these kind of Yuletide, solstice, Christmas, Saturnalia connections. Is that like, and potentially the wild hunt basically is just a metaphor for dealing with the phenomena in general, like engaging with the phenomena and having it engage back, staring to the business, staring it back, and like the phenomena shaping itself over time. Like you're talking about, so like, and especially with the belief thing. So the trajectory kind of first, belief in the wild hunt, leaving offerings out for these evil elves or monsters. They pass you by. Like the wild hunt is like this Odin figure, this Father Time, Kronos, Saturn, Krampus, everything that looks like Krampus, Gryla sometimes, like a female figure, Dark Father, this horn thing that's like leading a pack of like hellhounds and wild like demon horses and monsters and goblins throughout the woods. If you see them, it's bad, it's terrible for you. So you stay indoors, leave out offerings, and it'll leave you alone. But it's going to snatch you up. That's like the Krampus sack. It's going to seize you if it's been twisted to keep kids in line, like be good, or it'll snatch you away and
to terrify the children. Yeah, it's become the boogeyman basically, which is horrific. And in the old days, it was that the wild hunt does come into this because there is a tie-in here. It is Pan and the Dionysus, as Jorge was saying there, and sort of that whole aspect of
Sun-Mon-Tues,
Sun-Mon-Tues, yeah, exactly. Particular times of the year, you have to stay away from nature. You have to batten down the hatches, or it will come and eat you. And who knows what happens to you? This has been a story from thousands of years ago. People disappear all the time under bizarre circumstances. Check out Missing 411. Shout out David Paulides and the good work he's doing over there. Like that type of stuff. That is the wild hunt. And the question becomes, what's hunting us? And if it's metaphorical or otherwise, fine. But if it's not, we got a massive problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, and just as the solstice and this dark season, at the veil coming down, or maybe simply because this is the darkest time of year, so people are paying attention and looking into the darkness. They're going indoors. They're telling stories. They're putting the phenomena into story form. They're shaping, making characters out of the darkness because they're all paying attention to the darkness, looking into the darkness during the darkest time of the season. And maybe like this wild hunt myth that comes out of it is just explaining the dangers of the phenomena. Like not all, like nature isn't bad, but there is like a nature spirit aspect that comes with it, and that's not bad. But there is like dangers to it. Like the idea, like shout out Matt's owl, like if you leave out offerings, you better maintain that, because if you stop doing it, they're gonna get pissed off and they might run amok. They might have to do some trick stuff to you at the very least, you know. So the wild hunt kind of adds the relationship with the phenomena. So that's just kind of step one, and then just second kind of belief is what gives these things power in our realm. Kind of like the Christian, like Eric took over the solstice and Saturnalia season, kind of pushed these myths out of our mind and kind of ipso facto out of reality, and it creates like a natural veil for these things, like simply by ignoring them. So that's why like worshiping them is like a major rule in the Ten Commandments. Like I'm the only God you should worship and stuff, and that's why all these old gods fight over our belief and stuff, because that's the veil. It's like our belief in them is what gives them form. 3, so basically the old gods, these old myths, these darker archetypes are kind of out of our veil, kind of. 3, Coke is this giant corporation, aka non-human, strictly a money-based enterprise, creates Santa. It's out of an amalgam of all these all-father figures mixed with like real-ish people like Saint Nick or Kris Kringle and these other like archetypes and people like real people, like myths from all over the world, that people will resonate with and latch onto, which is the classic tactic that like every religion has done as all over the world throughout history. And before Coke made Santa, Easter was like a really popular Christian holiday, like because everyone's born. The Savior's birthday is cool and all, but like the real special day is celebrating the resurrection, you know, until Santa showed up, which like changed everything. Our calendars are like focused around Christmas. We are like, it's super important. Like Christmas is the real deal, and it's all about belief and everything. And then the next over the 100, like so 4, then over the next 100 years, Santa and the commercial Christmas literally changes culture, movies, economy. The calendar revolves around it. Essentially, it's treated like the new god. It's the god of commerce, essentially. There's just the god of this new age, basically. We talk about superheroes as our modern gods, which is true, but Superman is a level below Santa, in my opinion, you know, and it completely latched on to the human psyche. And at the crux of it is the spirit of Christmas, the belief in this essence of the spirit, you know, and it's been good. I believe in it. It's been good. But now since at least 2015, which like there's earlier examples in the early 2000s of like Adventure Time or different like adult animated cartoons bringing Krampus in. But when it really hit the zeitgeist was 2015. When it really hit the West, and then a flood of Dark Santa movies, peaking like this year, arguably with 2 mainstream movies, like in theaters or whatever about a Dark Santa, combined and all kind of like indie slasher Santa movies, combined with Gen Z and Gen Alpha liking quote unquote spooky stuff and weird stuff more than like previous generations. They latch on to Stranger Things and Wednesday and stuff more than superheroes. So Santa might be kind of corny going forward, and we might have like decades of Krampus or decades of Dark Santa, at least like ironic, like I don't know, like Jack Santa or like you know, like not the Miracle on 34th Street Santa anymore. So we're watching myth change, and will that change? And it's changing dark. It's like the Santa beard is coming off as a kid pulls it off at the mall, and underneath is like horns and teeth and like. It might take 100 years to happen, but are we watching kind of the spirit of the season shift, reverse back into the wild hunt? You know,
yeah,
we're back into focusing on these darker things. I'm rambling, but that was all I really got.
No, you're good. Yeah. Okay, so there's something poignant there, in my opinion, that fits, because we're again bastardizing the season. You know, they say Jesus is the reason for the season, right? And again, depends on your frame of reference and all the rest of those things. But certainly, it's not. To go spend a bunch of money you don't have, and to send things to people that they don't need because of some social pressure, right? Certainly that's not the reason for the season, even if you don't believe in Jesus or whatever. And so there's a problem here. We are taking these things and we are corrupting them in the most basic or most base of way. And that's part of this. And I think as what you said there is exactly Krampus resurgent. Like we are taking something that was supposed to be pure, and it was supposed to be for children, and it was supposed to be as all of that, and it's not anymore. And the more it grows, and the more, you know, they adopted the term Black Friday for, you know, Christmas shopping the day after Thanksgiving. You know, shopping season has begun. It's I don't know. It's weird, right? It's certainly a strange thing, and this is why, like I said, they need people like us to think about what's happening in the zeitgeist. People like the whole Troubled Minds fan, because there's stuff happening that is not as, let's say, cuddly as they would have us believe. 100%. And go ahead. Real quick, final thought on that, and it's all yours. Is it reminds me of the Scooby-Doo, right? Where they unmask the villain at the end, right? And it's us. It's us, or it's somebody you know. It's like, you catch the bad guy, and you take the mask off of the ghost, and you're like, oh, it's me. Like, okay, all right. Anyway, go ahead.
In this case, okay, what if you take the mask off? What do you think is a person, and it's actually like a ghost wearing a mask? You know, it's actually like a see-through person. You know, it's like the spirit. It's the spirit of the season. The pre-Tulpa thing trying to emerge itself. You know, and like I don't want to make it seem like Santa is like a commercial god or whatever, which you can make the case that it is. But like, I love the spirit of Christmas. I love, like, my birthday's in December, so I really made December like a big deal as a kid, and I still love it. And I've been like kind of like really ritualizing the day. And as I'm going through the day, I'm realizing that like I'm what I'm doing is a ritual, and obviously what everyone does with the tree and all these like things we do every year, and it's all caked in nostalgia and trying to like make that feeling happen over again. We've created something like, I'm not that it took away something from something else, but we at least created something new, this new thing that fueled by so much energy. Like if you're tracking my kind of like happiness peak throughout my entire life, probably it spikes in December. It spikes. Like I love it. I still do, but before I had to work like I do, but like it was much more important and everything. So, and that's the case for a lot of people and everything. So creating this new energy, and what the kind of myth talks about within the myth is the spirit of Christmas, as the spirit of Christmas. And the way we talk about it as like myth story and myth shaping reality, our belief in the phenomena is what shapes the phenomena. Like, are we transmuting kind of that spirit into something darker, potentially, with now a new edgier version of this like spirit of Christmas god in Santa? We're making a dark version of it, or we're showing we're showing its mirror side. We're showing its dark shadow side. You know, are we now? And could that potentially be like what's really under the mask, and what we have been dealing with Santa for the last 80 or 100 years or whatever? That, like, if you look at old paintings and stuff, like it's really, he's always holding a Coke bottle. Like, Coke really did do a number to it. So it's really like only like 100-year period where Santa's what we know it is. Is that just a blip on the radar? And what we're dealing with is as a way for like the Wild Hunt, or this thing that led the Wild Hunt to get the hunt going back again. You know, what do you think, James? What do you think, Mike? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Go ahead, James, and I got something to add before we wrap this. You guys are welcome to stay. We'll just free for all it out if you have time. We got Daryl coming up, and if you guys want to be part of the conversation, 702-957-1037. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I would just say, and I want to mention something or clarify maybe something that I said earlier too. There have been sightings of what appears to be Santa Claus or Krampus. And so I don't know if I said that earlier or not, but I want to make sure I said that now, because we don't know for sure. Even in cases where the people that had these experiences felt like it was a positive being, we still don't know for sure. We can't know for sure. Just like any paranormal experience, we can't know for sure what was going on there because we weren't there. And so yeah, it's and look at how, I mean, I was just thinking too, there's even stuff on TV that I don't even watch, but I've seen clips of or parts of, just being with other people, like Futurama. They have like an evil robot Santa Claus on there. I remember just catching a clip of, and that was in the.
There's really a ton. There's really like tons of them. Yeah.
So go ahead and make sense.
Yeah, no problem. Just real quick, I want to mention that I found a couple of studies that supposedly recreated from the bone structure of the real Saint Nicholas. Again, say what you want about whether that's real or not, but they look like jolly old Saint Nick, right? Here's one of them I got on the screen. There's another one. The articles will be down below. This is from GreekReporter.com. But they look different, but they look similar, right? And I wonder if it's sort of like we're creating what we expect or want to see. And this is, that circular aspect of this is like, okay, I mean, put a Coke in this guy's hand, like you said. It's if this is Christmas, yeah, it's absolutely nutters. And so I don't know, as usual, right? Like not just Bernays propaganda we talk about a lot, but this type of thing is co-opting history and reframing it in a lot of really, let's say, nebulous ways. And that's the bizarre part about it. You guys are the best. You can hang, Derek. We got another segment, or maybe more if we got. All right, cool. Cheers on the eggnog. We're here with Derek the Nice Stalker, James in Michigan, which you missed Santa, James. Sorry about that, brother. I wanted to point it out. He just flew on by, and you were too busy doing Troubled Minds to even recognize. So there you go.
Cole for you.
Exactly.
All your fault.
Cole for James. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Lots more coming. We got Daryl in New York. We got more from James and Derek the Nice Stalker in your calls as well. Give us a call. Get in here. What do you know about Krampus? What do you know about Santa? What about St. Nicholas and disturbing his grave? Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Don't go anywhere.
Symbols, whispers, and shadows. We've got maps where nobody goes. In the night under hidden glows, guardians of what no one knows. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. In cloaked silence we traverse the lines, through ancient scrolls in forgotten times. Voices echo in the halls of lore, guardians of the mysteries evermore. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. Shadows meet in cryptic disguise, our eyes sharp against the everlights. With silver threads we weave the stealth to guard the past, forgotten world. Where the myths collide with hidden lore, our fates are tied. Signals bouncing off the astral plane, invisible codes that can't be tamed. We decode the stars under the midnight veil, a stain and silken sweat midnight hail. In the echoes of time, where the legends lay, we tread the path where shadows play. With spectral eyes we discern the truth, unraveling tales from ancient.
Good evening, guys. Santa update, Indianapolis, Indiana. So if you have a knock on your chimney, keep the guns locked up. No pew-pews on Santa Claus tonight. Watching the NORAD Santa tracker and just having a good time with our friends here and talking about wild things as we do, right? I hope you guys are well. Happy Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas Eve, wherever you are. If we clicked over toward the East Coast, not quite 30 more minutes and the East Coast gets actual Christmas. Merry Christmas Eve, just hanging out, doing stuff. We got more from Derek. We got more from James. We got Daryl in New York coming up, and your calls as well. What do you know about this? Does it seem strange that sort of metaphysics might play in the larger context of not just the tulpa mechanism, as Derek was describing, but the egregore of Santa himself? I don't know. I think it's a fascinating line of thinking. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about it. Like I said, if you want politics, this is not your place. Yeah, go check that out somewhere else. But here we talk about the wild and interesting things. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening right now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds radio network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're watching the NORAD Santa Tracker as the egregore of Santa Claus himself delivers gifts to the good children around the world. Loretto, Tennessee in 49 seconds is what the NORAD Santa Tracker says. Please put your firearms away and your laser pointers, and do not interfere with Santa's work. It would be possibly catastrophic. We're talking about Krampus, and so not just Krampus, that the whole thing started tonight with this bizarre story that hit a couple weeks ago, the sarcophagus of Santa Claus possibly discovered in a Turkish church. Now, again, it's a long sordid tale historically, and who really knows, because, you know, the victors wrote history and all the rest of that stuff, right? We're smart enough to recognize that history is a very big ish. And that's okay. And but this made me wonder about the metaphysical aspect of sort of disturbing the grave of a saint, actually a saint. And I was reading some stuff too, and on Wikipedia they suggest that maybe Saint Nicholas was actually part of the Council at Nicaea. You guys familiar with that, right? It's the where they did the canon on the Bible and decided, you know, which actual things to include, which books not to include. Book of Enoch was left out infamously. Yeah. So I don't know. Again, they say that nobody stated he was there, but there are some rumors that he was there as part of it. So I don't know. There's a really like pretty wild connection as part of that. But yeah, fire stuff. More from all these amazing people. Daryl waited a long time. Let's go to Daryl and let's just chop it up and keep on trucking and chilling and doing all the thing. Daryl in New York, what's up? You missed Santa. You were hanging out with us instead. Welcome to Trouble Minds. How are you? And go right ahead.
How you doing? Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy Hanukkah.
You as well.
Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know what the difference between Santa Claus and Krampus is?
What?
No idea.
You know, Santa Claus comes once a year, but Krampus comes 12 times a year. That's a girl joke. Okay.
The doorbell. Oh God! I ruined it with the bad timing on that.
That's a good one.
Daryl, you're killing me.
That's bad.
I was going to say when.
But you know what? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, good. I was going to say that you missed. What Mike said, you missed Santa. I was thinking, well, Daryl's definitely been naughty, so you like Santa wasn't coming to your place anyway. You know?
That's true.
Yeah.
And after that joke, you know.
That's true.
Which we call it. You know what people that don't believe in Santa Claus?
What?
They're agnostics.
Nice.
Okay. That's it for the joke.
Daryl slated as always. Yeah, wild though, right? Wild, all of this stuff. Dad joke Daryl affectionately. You guys know you love her. So what's your take here? Are we onto something, you think, or is this just more Troubled Minds musing that doesn't make any damn sense? Go ahead.
No. I got to tell you something. I've been listening to I've subscribed to everybody that talks about Tartaria and mud floods, and they were just talking about the Christmas Cabbage Patch Children and Krampus and Santa Claus. And there's something about you've got to listen to this Tartaria stuff. I'm addicted to it. I know Derek started getting into it, didn't you, Derek?
Not so much as in recent years. I remember when it first hit the scene. I know what it's about. I mean, I pay attention to everything, but yeah, it's fun for sure.
There's something about it. Where did all the parents go? why were there so many orphans?
A lot of
Like,
orphans. Yeah, a lot of orphan stuff. Yeah.
I mean, that was a fact, so what happened? What reset happened recently? What was like really built before, like every big civilization? Well, I don't know if I want to talk about that, but like, we kind of like adopted whatever we found. We just like stumbled on these megaliths, we stumbled on the pyramids, we stumbled on these buildings, and then we like modified them to suit our size. They were a little too big for us, and then, suddenly there was a fire in every city in America. But there were these grand buildings, made for tall people, I'm not saying anything, but going back to Krampus and Santa Claus, like, how did these two become friends? Like, what the hell? Like, this is like half goat, half monster. How did this become his like Santa Claus's bud? Like his BFF.
I think in some stories they're like brothers. So if like the kind of if the good kids deal with the good brother and the bad kids deal with the naughty brother, the evil brother. But I think it just varies. Some of them don't even that they're different. They're not involved in the same mythology. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a big mess.
I think there was a Saint Nicholas, but I don't know about this Krampus fella. I think he's mythology. I don't know. He's the devilish companion, but he's like part goat and part monster. I don't see how he's going to be fitting in any kind of good humor, kind of ambiance. No,
it's a funny movie. Like it's Krampus. I saw somebody post today. It's their favorite Christmas movie is Krampus, and I rewatched it the other day. It's wacky.
Michael Douglas directed one. I wonder if that's the one.
I'm not. It's
movies.
A lot of Krampus stuff. Exactly. Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you talk. Sorry.
I don't know. I've got some Krampus after eating something bad.
Well, it is eating season after all, so you're in good company. Go right ahead.
But apparently, like they like the orphans were terrorized by Krampus. So some of them, it was no big deal because they didn't have parents looking for them. So if a Krampus took a few of them to dine on, nobody would really, know the difference. Who's naughty or nice, But I mean, they were really there's a bad Santa Claus and a good Santa Claus. So I don't know.
It's definitely a good mythology to. It's definitely a good mythology to corral a large group of orphans. If you have like a ton of kids, this is a mythology to like get them all to go to bed when you want them to go to bed, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Get them to behave. I think what were they doing with so many orphans? I just, what happened to their parents? What was here? Like, who really built the railroads? I don't know. What was here before? Like, I don't know. I just think it's very, very interesting. And recently there was an episode about Christmas and they said these children were born in cabbage patches. Like, this didn't start recently. This was an old myth, that these kids just grew out of cabbage patches, that they weren't born from any parents.
Yeah, that I'm less familiar with, and that's kind of where I deviate from the that's like after 6 or 7 years of Tartaria podcast, they start getting into like more of the deep lore. And so I think it's more like the people were having like a dozen kids, and then the parents were dying because they were poor in the streets, and then you get a dozen kids that were orphaned, and it happened like in whole cities. So you have like a whole generation of hundreds and hundreds of like orphans running amok in the city.
Took them away from their parents with they said this is better for the children. But it wasn't better for the children. The children were, dying. I mean, the children were like 5 in a bed, and they had one outfit, and these like orphanage asylums they were called, and they were also like all these mental institutions. Like, what the heck? and then they were all burned down. You know.
Yeah.
So there's a cover up there going on. I wish there was some written history on it. It would be very interesting to read. Too bad none of these orphans was inclined to write about it. You know.
Yeah. Well, they end up disappearing and stuff. That's the worst part about it. There's a lot of that again. You know, like look at the border and stuff. Like there are hundreds of thousands of missing kids. It's I don't think that stuff's an accident. And by the way, as part of it, I had a good thought, but I forgot what it was. But go ahead. What else you got, Daryl?
Yeah, I mean, you
or
could change.
James,
you could
feel free to
change
chime in.
history. You could change history in one generation very easily, and have no memory of the past. You know, it wouldn't be very difficult. Like, you know, burn the books and rewrite new books and teach new things in schools. You could reteach history, and nobody would know the better. You know, I just, I think the only thing is, like, different countries have different histories that are able to maintain their cultures, but this is starting to feel like it's not going to, like, necessarily be occurring soon. We're going to be a global, if these elites get their way, we're going to be a one world government, a global, I don't know. I hope not.
With the reset stuff, and like, so what do you think about like the old kind of with the Krampus? There's clearly like we have a modern Krampus, we have kind of a recent history Krampus. It's definitely touching on ancient archetypes and stuff. So if we are being reset with the kind of mud flip stuff you're into, like, do you think it's the same kind of spirit kind of manifesting in every age over and over again?
I think it's the same people. I think it's the same people behind it too. I think they're generations and generations of money, and they're all behind it, and they see, we messed up, we better do a reset. Like, like they're just like, there's no recourse at all, and they're willing to do like just about anything to erase their misdoings, and right now I think, they're really up, what's creek, I think they're going to be up, I don't think their money's going to save them this time. Maybe their money will, I don't know. But what if it doesn't? They're going to have to do another reset. So what are they going to do? I think something happened with Mercury. I think they had free energy with Mercury, and they made a mistake, and it wound up killing a lot of adults. Or maybe it was intentional, it was an intentional accident. I don't know. And then like, it didn't work. So they had these wars, Wars are part of resets too, I think they calculate how many people die per war, how many people die per plague. I think the plagues were done on purpose.
Okay, don't get us taken off of YouTube, please. Please be careful. Be careful what you're about to say. I know it's coming.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying that, that some things didn't work. So then you have a war, then you have this, then you have that, Who knows? How did they convince all these people to give up their kids? That's wild,
Yeah.
Once you don't have family, I mean, then that's the end of society, I think, in my opinion. When you start to give up your parents, or your parents give you up, then what are we here for,
Hey, while we still have air in our lungs, we're here for each other, Daryl. There you go. There's some Christmas comfort for you. That's what we're here for, okay? So it's not all gloom and doom, it's not all bleak. No. It's while humans still here and we persist and we dream of ideas that are better than what we're given, then this is still our realm too. We belong here too. Amazing stuff. James, anything to add? You guys are welcome to stay. We're just kicking it, chilling. Don't go anywhere, anybody, but just want to get James in. If he has anything, if not, we'll keep on talking.
Please.
I don't know a lot about much of that, but I was thinking in a lot of fiction, orphans are sort of are created by the presence and the manipulation of otherworldly beings, vampires, werewolves, whatever. You get that in fiction a lot, where at the end of a book, there's a kid or multiple kids who survived. Though they survived, but their family or whatever didn't because of an attack and whatever. And I'm wondering if, in some cases, that could be the cause for some orphans, but you just don't hear about it because they either don't even know because of how young they were, or they do know, but they don't think anyone will ever believe them because of all the stigma against thinking any of that kind of stuff could be real anywhere, at any time. I can see those things being causes for that to happen in some cases.
Oh, by the way, I know, Derek likes to talk about wizards and so forth, and that apparently,
I do.
Krampus is considering is considered a tier 110 to 170 wizard.
In what?
I don't know.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at this. There were boss that appears to be during. He's located in some place called Krampusgarten in Germany, I guess. You have to get a gold.
Is this D&D, Mike?
Pardon me?
Is this D&D, Mike?
It feels like it. It feels like it. Yeah, it feels like it's framed through D&D.
3 Wizard Wiki.
Yeah,
I'm just reading this. It requires
Wizard Wiki.
Of course.
You need a gold skeleton key to enter.
Of course you do.
Nice.
I've got one here, by the way. I just don't know what it unlocks.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful with the gold skeleton key. If it seems like a skeleton, be careful with it.
I think I'm talking out of my league here. I don't know what this means.
No.
Yeah, this became, they started in Germany. Germany and Austria really celebrate this Krampus, which is so typically German.
Speaking of which, did you guys see that the Vatican or something is opening some sort of portal? Did you guys see this thing?
Yeah, the 5 portal.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull this up. Yeah, right. So on December 24th.
Very weird.
Yeah, this is today. Pope Francis initiated the 2025. Wait, is this the thing? No, it's not the thing. Yeah, the tradition of opening holy doors dates back to 1300 and is typically this is the right thing. Let me read this. If you guys haven't seen this, if you're in the conspiracy world, you've seen this. This is nuts. Listen to this.
Very weird.
On December 24th, that's today, 2024, Pope Francis initiated the 2025 Jubilee year by opening the Holy Door at St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. This act marks the beginning of a year-long period of spiritual renewal and pilgrimage for Catholics worldwide. The tradition of opening holy doors dates back to 1300 and is typically observed every 25 years. Every 25 years. Passing through these doors symbolizes a transition from sin to grace, offering the faithful an opportunity for spiritual cleansing and indulgence. There's a whole bunch more stuff here, but the back to the wizard stuff. I keep seeing these memes, right? And they have one of these high cardinals or whatever they are, pressing this staff against the door, right? As part of it, I guess is probably photos from the last one, and they're like, this door can only be. Go ahead. What is
There was a Notre Dame one this month where the guy was pressing the resurrection of Notre Dame, and they blessed it, and Trump and all the royals were there, and Musk was there, and there was a guy with a big wizard staff.
Is that what that was?
A water portal.
Okay,
yeah.
So
they're doing the same thing now.
I'm combining. Yeah, they're doing the same thing, combining two things. But the memes are it takes a 20th level wizard to crack open this door.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
anyway, there you go. Daryl's onto something. Yeah, I don't know. I almost thought of doing that show too this week, but I don't know. There's a lot of Santa Claus symbolism here that is probably good enough for tonight. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a opening church doors that they're calling portals, or they're calling gates, symbolically opening these gates. But one of them is a prison.
Sorry about that. I'm going to share a link to just one of the Tartarian, YouTubers that I like to listen to. He's great. His name is Lucius Aurelian. He sounds like a damn
wizard. He sounds like a wizard. Say the words like a wizard.
Yeah.
Lucius Aurelian, the Krampus. I don't know. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna put this in the Discord chat. Anyway, just listen. Just, once you get started on Tartaria, it's very addictive. You'll just start looking for stuff. There's like 3 people I listened to about it. And they were just talking about Christmas, children, and Santa Claus, and this Krampus. Wow, it's pretty cool stuff.
Sweet.
I love this stuff.
Sweet. Tartaria and Krampus. I'm in. Links in the chat there. Daryl dropped it in the Discord. By the way, if you guys haven't joined the Discord, now's a good time. troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link over at your leisure. It's up there 24/7. Just come say hi. Come hang out. We're on Discord right now talking about wild stuff. The Dark Mirror of St. Nicholas, I'm calling this Krampus as a living archetype. And not only that, how does it fit with everything else? Is this the egregore splintering? Are we doing this for capitalism or whatever else, right? The isms. I don't know. And the interesting part of that weird 25-year opening of the portal or whatever. And Daryl said that, whatever the next great reset is, I'll tell you what, we know, we see it. It's in our face. It's AI. That's the next great reset. That's what's happening. So it's right here. It's right in front of us. We're all seeing it. Yeah, go ahead on that. Go ahead.
Well, so one of these doors is that he's opening is a prison. That's the kind of the one that's the peculiar one. That's like why are they doing that? And Clyde did a Saturn and Jupiter show on yesterday or whatever, and Robert Phoenix came on. I was talking about how Saturn is in Pisces, which is in prison or whatever, and I'm thinking like Saturn and Jupiter are like squaring each other right now, which is opening this kind of cosmic portal. So I'm thinking kind of Clash of the Titans style. Saturn is in prison, Tartarus, and basically like Saturn, the trajectory would be Saturn transmuting to Santa and transmuting now the next reset kind of being like I'm skipping a ton of synchronicities, would be AI essentially. Like this next, like Saturn and AI share all the black cube symbolism, all the same symbolism, and now like the beginning of this year in January, we're about to drop all AI regulations as soon as the inauguration happens, and for a time these things being let out of prison and everything, basically. And the mythology with the door opening, the sky, the AI is all about being released from the abyss, released from prison, released from the shackles coming off, like the true darkness emerging in the form of Krampus or Saturn or the Dark Father. You know what I'm saying? Does it make sense? I'm rambling. Does that make sense?
I follow you, but I can follow nearly anything. I've been doing this for a minute, being able to kind of dance in superposition for several things at the same time. Yeah, I think this type of stuff. Maybe we'll do the Vatican one coming up. I don't know if you guys have interest in that. Let me know. I think there's a lot here, but yeah, like I said, trying to keep it light tonight. Me personally, you guys can talk about whatever. But Panama City, speaking of light, is where Santa Claus is about to hit in Ecuador. 1 minute 31 seconds. If you're out there somewhere.
I was basically trying to skip over a whole another half an hour's worth of call with what I just said, basically. But the long story short is, there's some meat on that bone connecting the openings to AI. If you wanted to do a show on that,
it feels like it. Yeah, 100%. You'll let me know. You'll let me know. Absolutely. But so we got Matt Sal coming up. Hang tight, Matt. We're going to get you in here. Anything else? So we got about let's say 2 minutes left. Anything else, Daryl? Final thought here, and James, if you got anything else, you guys are welcome. Welcome to
Mr. Stones, Miss MZ Stone D. Yeah, Mind Unveiled is excellent. Also, I like Mind Unveiled. He's awesome.
Okay,
I agree.
Is that Puff? Yeah, in the Discord there. Yeah. Okay. Amazing stuff. I haven't seen it myself,
agree.
Okay. Agree. Right on. Again, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah to you, Daryl. Thanks for staying up late with us. It is actually officially over there in 3 minutes. Merry Christmas to you as well. So thanks for staying up late, hanging out with us. James, anything to add before we take a break here? Got Matt Sal coming up and your calls as well.
Just for anyone that wants to see an episode of The Twilight Zone that is sort of related to the whole gate thing and opening gates, check out the episode called The Howling. I reviewed it on one of my shows, but y'all might want to check that out yourselves, or at least the Wikipedia account or page for it, and I can share that with y'all as well.
Right on. Appreciate that. Fire stuff. Anything, to, Derek, real quick? We got about 30, 45 seconds. If you got anything, Dad?
No, that's it. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Whatever you celebrate. Yeah. Whatever you guys celebrate out there, it's all good by me. I'm actually inclusive in my mind and not regressive inclusive, as we've been seeing in modern politics. Instead, you do you, and I hope you have the best time of it. We got more left. We're not going anywhere for the moment. More Troubled Minds coming up. If you want to be part of the conversation, we got Matt's out in California coming up. More from Derek, if you're going to stay, or James, you guys tell me.
Yeah,
and okay, welcome to the hang. And we're just talking. It's Christmas Eve. Hey, Merry Christmas. The East Coast is about to hit Christmas. We're going to take a break
First
right
night of
now.
Hanukkah too, right?
What's that?
It's the first night of Hanukkah tonight too, right?
Oh, is it? Yeah. That's true. That's true. So we got a lot of things converging, and so we're going to take a break right now. And when we come back, it will actually be Merry Christmas and the first day of Hanukkah, night of Hanukkah. I don't know. I don't know how to work
I'm not sure, but one of them. Yeah.
One of them. There we go. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. Don't go anywhere. More from these fine folks and Matt's out and your calls as well. Merry Christmas. We're tracking Santa. We're talking Krampus. We're talking about archetypes and all manner of wild things as we are wont to do. Here we go. More on the way. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds coming up. Be right back.
Drifting through the quantum haze. Mind entangled in a daze. Whispers in the neural mist. Echoes of what might exist. Lost in time in this web we spin. It's alright beyond our skin. Consciousness forever twined in the dark unseen. Quantum dreams, we're all connected. Though we're scattered, we are reflected. Frequencies that pull us in. Parallel worlds kept within. Synapses that intertwine. Fragments of an endless line. Feel the pulse of a distant star. It's alright, we are who we are. In the void we find the light in tangled hearts. Quantum dreams, we're all connected. In the silence, hear the call. One by one we rise and fall. Quantum minds forever near. In this world so clear. Quantum dreams, we're all connected. Though we're scattered, we are reflected. Dark energy in the depths we find. Mysteries of the human mind. Particles that drift afar. Whispers of who we are. Hold the thread of the great unknown. It's alright, we are never alone. Flow through time on currents thin. Universe is found within. Feel the echoes of the past. In this moment, futures cast. Through the veil of the space between. It's It's alright, life's a lucid dream.
Hello there. Sorry, caught me away from the mic. What's up? Hope everybody's well, doing the thing. We got Matt Sal coming up, more from James and Derek, and your calls as well. What do you guys know about this? I don't know. You know me, right? If you can kind of make a squint your mind's eye case, I want to hear it. I want to listen. There you go. Richard in Texas. Quantum minds, we're all connected. Exactly right. What's up, Joey? We got Don. Jorge, thanks for the call earlier. We got Ricky. Matt's out coming up. We got Sweets. Daryl. Great stuff. Love the jokes. Thanks for the call. APOC, how you doing? Merry Christmas to everybody, because now it is Merry Christmas on the East Coast and the first night of Hanukkah-ish, moving into the things. I don't know anything about Hanukkah. Sorry about that. I'm just me, little old me that only knows the things I know. But I'm learning every day, and that's a good thing. What's up? If I missed anybody, say hi. I'll say hi back. What's up, Jan? And who was here earlier? Ted in England. How you doing, buddy? Lanessa, great chat. I'm reading the chat, keeping up with you guys. Appreciate it very much. Excuse me very much. And yeah, who'd I miss? If I missed anybody, Raz, I saw earlier. What's going on? Magavelli, we got YY. I see you guys. Yep, we got a puff shout out from Daryl. Yeah, Hemp Car. We got the Robert over on Rockfin. I see you guys. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening right now. And yeah, more on the way. What do you guys know about Krampus? Here we go. Put my headphones on. Here we go. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick, and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Happy Hanukkah, all the rest of the stuff. Whatever it is you celebrate. Hey, look, life has its ups and downs. Let's manifest something together right now in this moment. Let's make 2025 our year, whatever that means to you. Whether it's clarity, whether it's success, whether it's leaving old attachments behind, whatever it is, let's choose it right now that next year is our year, and we're going to make this happen together. If you want to be part of the show tonight, we're talking the Dark Mirror of St. Nicholas. Krampus as a living archetype. A lot of ways to look at this, and it is again fascinating. And the reason why I'm okay going all the different angles on this most times is because I think science is going to validate a lot of the stuff we're talking about. And we're in that acceleration aspect of the quickening, as we're talking about, the AI future. And, there's the accelerationists that are like, yeah, we're going to live forever. And I'm like, all of us or just some of us, right? Like there's some really big questions that need to be answered in that capacity, but it's exciting. It's definitely exciting. What's up, OG? No New Year's resolution pressure? No, bro. 2025 is yours. It's ours. What do you guys know? We're talking, again, Krampus. We started with this, the Dark Mirror of St. Nicholas, because, of course, they found the sarcophagus. Supposedly, it's kind of a maybe at this point, but sarcophagus of Santa Claus and St. Nicholas possibly discovered in Turkish church. All right. So my whole premise was, if you disturb that, what are the consequences? Especially since we know in the zeitgeist who the shadow self of Saint Nick is, and it's Krampus. Weird, right? Yeah. What do you guys know about it? 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. Thanks for being patient with me and my human proclivities. Matt in California. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. How you doing? What's on your mind? Have Merry Christmas to you and yours. Shout out Lacey, and go right ahead. How you doing, my man?
Good. Can you hear me, Mike?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Awesome. Hey, guys. Thank you.
Good evening. Merry Christmas.
You as well. Happy Yule. Thanks, guys. Good show.
Thank you.
I always make the joke. I promise I won't get drunk and tell the pagan origin stories of Christmas. But here I am.
Here we go. Strap in. Cheers, brother. Cheers, brother, to that. What you got? Go ahead.
I just feel it goes back further. And, in our stories, we have horned gods like Sun-Mon-Tues. He's the one of the wild hunt. I think maybe this is the archetype for where Krampus comes from. we have different kinds of archetypes of the horned gods. But to me, I always associate it with Odin, right? He's the All Father. He's old man with a white beard. That's always what I think of when I think of Santa Claus and this archetype. There's many different archetypes of Santa Claus. Of course, Santa Claus, the archetype. Where does that come from? It comes from Coca-Cola, an advertisement campaign.
Exactly. Like Derek was
Well-
saying earlier. Yeah, it's wild.
And if you think about Coca-Cola, I don't drink it, but it's a refreshing, cold drink. You drink in the summertime, but you don't really think of drinking. In the wintertime, we drink hot teas and coffee and things like that, hot cocoa, right? We don't really drink cold drinks in the wintertime, and so Coca-Cola had to. They realized if you look at the sales of Coca-Cola in the summer, it drops down in the winter times, and no one really drinks Coca-Cola in the wintertime. So they had to come up with a marketing campaign to sell their product. And you look at Santa Claus, he's red and white, just like Coca-Cola. And this is like, you could look it up. This Coca-Cola made Santa Claus. That's where that comes from. That character.
Yeah, the modern version, exactly, and it continues to change too. Like I said, there's sort of that capitalist, wasting of goods that we build so they break, so we have to buy a new one. Like planned obsolescence is part of this, and it's horrific. It's like, come on now, like we're smarter than this as a society, but it's basically the game we've been locked into because of those control mechanisms I'm always talking about. But yeah, Bernays propaganda, Santa and Coke. Yep. Like seriously, Coca-Cola. I can't tell you the last time I drank a soda, like an actual soda. I can't even tell you. Like a high fructose corn syrup, guys. You already know. Don't be drinking that crap. Fire stuff, Matt. You're on the game tonight as usual. And what else you got? Go right ahead.
And then I think of the next archetype of Santa Claus. I think of Kris Kringle. And people don't really talk about Kris Kringle, but Kris Kringle is one of the archetypes of Santa Claus. And if you look it up, Kris Kringle, he was this is a Dutch story about a man named Kris Kringle. And in this story, he was a chimney sweeper. But he would he would come around, he would chimney sweep your house. And he was a thief. And so he would scope out your house while he's, looking in the window while he's chimney sweeping your house. And then he would drop down the chimney because it's clean. And then he would like break his bones. He was like a contortionist, and he would like fit his way down your chimney. And he was a thief. He would steal from you. And so that's another association with Kris Kringle of how we get that story of Santa Claus. Like all these stories kind of tied together. Are you following me?
Yeah, absolutely. A quick funny story on that. The old, the trade person burgling stuff. I was in trucking school. Yep, I got a commercial driver's license, and the guy that was this is going to be quick. There was the guy that was instructing the course. Right, he couldn't have been making that much money to do the thing. But we're in the big rig. There's like 5 or 6 of us, right? Because you swap out and people drive. But he's wearing like these $500 sunglasses, right? And mine fall off. I'm one of these cheapies, like $8 from like the dollar store or something. They fall on the ground, and he reaches down to pick them up, and I'm like, oh no, don't worry about it. It's they're cheap, right? He's wearing like these Gucci's or something. It's ridiculous. I'm like, what is going on with this? And so he acts like he's going to throw them out the window because they're cheap, right? I was like, nice glasses though. We're kind of talking about. He's like, thanks. My nephew works washing cars, and he found these. And I was like, oh, he found them, did he? It's some Maserati he was washing, right? Found them. Anyway, funny story. Yeah. Professionals in the trade, right? Exactly.
And a couple of change. He found a couple of
Exactly. There happened to be a few $100 bills in the glove box too. We found those as well. Yeah, that's so crazy. Sorry, Matt, go ahead.
No, it's funny. I feel like these stories, they come from somewhere, and these are kind of stories we're talking about Kris Kringle and how he was a thief. It's like, how do they tie that into the story of Santa Claus coming down the chimney That's how they tied the stories in. So I feel like there's a lot more stories probably tied into it, the traditions. How they got to be those stories. But go ahead, Nesser.
Oh no, I was agreeing. And Merry Christmas. I had to mute my or I had to charge my headphones. They were dying on me. But Merry Christmas, brother.
All right, bro. You too. But
Go ahead,
yeah,
sorry.
the only other thing I really had was I was talking about Krampus and just thinking about what it was and the backwardsness of it. The mirror universe of the backwards of it. And watching the movie, there's a movie came out a few years ago, and it is by Michael Douglas. And remember those movies? The movies are tied to the Trick or Treat movie too. The same director. So it's funny how they have a movie that's about Halloween, monster from Halloween, Trick or Treat, and then the monster from Krampus is in the same world. So I'm wondering if they could add they could do whatever Easter Bunny, right? They can make a whole a franchise out of it. But when I was thinking about in the movie and what the movie kind of means to me and what the movie's about to me, it is a scary movie. It's a horror movie, but it's a Christmas horror movie. But what it's about to me is that when you look at like the opposite, so what's the opposite of Santa Claus? Like Santa Claus brings us gifts. So Krampus, he's the opposite. He takes away. He takes. He does not give like Santa. And so the whole point of this Krampus, the only way to beat Krampus, because it's like a curse, the only way to really beat Krampus is to not lose your holiday spirit. And I look around, I could see some people, and myself included. I don't really feel Christmas until like midnight tonight. Is when I start to feel my holiday spirit.
Shout out West Coast. We got 3 hours yet. Shout out West Coast. Go
no, that's
sorry.
Harper. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I feel the holiday spirit. But the whole point of the story is don't lose your holiday spirit, because at the end of the movie, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, but the whole point of the movie is the kid. It's about sacrifice. It's about giving and not receiving is greed. And you could look at the Grinch, This Whole Christmas, that whole at the end the Who's all come out to sing, even though there's no Christmas, there's no gifts, right? It's all about that feeling. It's not the greed of it. And so I'm tying that together. But at the end of the movie, the kid he sacrifices himself, and he says he wishes that his family would survive. And his family does survive, but they're in this snow globe. And then you see that Krampus collects snow globes of all the families that he has ruined, that he has kept, so it's kind of a, how do I say it, double edge to the movie. It's kind of a happy ending, but not, because yes, the family's together and they survive, but they're in the snow globe that Krampus has made for us, and it's it's a creepy movie.
Like kind of trapped in the Matrix, right? They're now they're like, okay, everything's fine, but you're all trapped in the Matrix together.
That's so prison world.
A little mini prison planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Prison world. And then you're back, and the camera zooms out, and you see all the other families that he's kind of trapped in these snow globes around the world. It's interesting ending to the movie.
It really seems like the return of the grim fairy tales, that this age is like ready for a little bit of a darker twist, a little bit of a darker edge to our myths now, a little bit darker edge to our bedtime stories, a little more ghost, a little more creepy stuff in our bedtime stories, which we like here. We like strange stuff. I don't like strange,
Oh yeah, grip and rip it. Hell yeah, 100%. Go ahead, Matt.
I'm glad you brought that up, because we're talking about like the zeitgeist and how maybe 15 years ago in our traditions, like Krampus wasn't a thing. I'll say 15 years ago. That's just my guess.
No, for sure.
Of when it kind of came into my mind of what Krampus was and who Krampus was. But over there in Germany and I say Austria, over there, that's the thing. Like that was their thing. So it kind of came over here, kind of leaked over to us. And now, like I was saying, and you mentioned it earlier, new movie coming out, Red One. Yeah. He's in that. He's in a video game that I play. Like in the video games coming out, they're like, oh, it's a Krampus, character or monster. And it kind of reminds me of like, just like Slender Man, it kind of just came from somewhere, and we have the stories and the traditions, but now all of a sudden and that word zeitgeist comes to me, and it's all over. It's in the things, and they have Krampus festivals here now. We have, we have little markets and things like that. We have big Krampus things, and I go to them, and they're fun, they're cool, and there's a person dressed up like Krampus and have a good time. But I feel like it's funny how, like you said, it's like a monster that like came into our world. Does that make sense? Like how you're saying, like nowadays it's more popular. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it worked its way into like snuck its way back into reality via like little pockets in our mythology. I don't know. It came in like ironically. It came in kind of jokey and kitschy, and now it's just dominating everywhere. In fact, if you, I did it the other day, but if you, I don't have it in front of me, but if you ask the AI mic to list you all the appearances of Krampus in TV shows and movies since the year 2000, it'll come up with a very large list and a lot of popular shows. It's as if you can't do a Christmas special or a Christmas movie, like a Christmas comedy, without putting at least a dark Santa, if not a direct Krampus. Like a darker version of Christmas. Like the Christmas season, the spirit of Christmas potentially is becoming darker or grim, like more of the days of the Wild Hunt. It's trippy. Yeah.
It's coming back. Strap in. I just asked it. I'll tell you how many I'm counting. It's cracking right now. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say it was in what was the Vampire Diaries one? Legends.
Oh yeah.
It was in that.
Legacy. Yeah.
Legacy. Sorry. Yeah, Legacy. Yeah. So like I said, it's in the zeitgeist, and it's popular now. And I mean, I think it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I love to learn the lore and the stories, but at the same time, here we are kind of figuring this out, and you're going, well, this isn't what Christmas is really about to me,
Yeah. So something doesn't smell right. Shout out to St. Louis, Missouri. Santa's about to hit it in 30 seconds. So keep your guns and your laser pointers out of the sky. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
I just wanted to end my topic and just talking about how I think it is about the spirit of Christmas, and how we're talking about like losing the spirit of Christmas. What we're talking about the other night about, what's the movie with the ghosts of future, past, and present, future? What's that movie? Christmas Carol.
Yeah, Christmas Carol. Yeah.
The ghosts of Christmas, past, and present, and future, and I feel that's kind of the same. What it was about. It was about if you lose your Christmas spirit, if you lose the holiday spirit, and like think about what it's really about. It's not about, like I said, I was kind of joking, but I'm bringing back that the end of Grinch Stole Christmas. It's not about the presents, and the Grinch stole Christmas, and the Who's didn't care. They still came out the next night and the next morning and got on the tree and sang, even though there was no presents and there was no whistles and gadgets. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's not about the presents. It's not about the greed. It's not about the the food and everything like that. It's about coming together as people, and I guess just being thankful and being the Christmas spirit, like being giving to people and
believing in magic,
being nice to people, and that's it. You feel me?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, believing in magic, almost like believing in the power of humanity, and I don't know, believing in the impossible, and believing in that's what I'm watching all these old sitcoms and these old specials and stuff, and it's just like, if you take, they're all like all the episodes are the same formula. Like the family is so centered around the gifts and finding the gifts, and then there's the one kid who believes in, who's like not buying gifts and is like, or like can't afford the gifts, something like that, but doesn't care because he believes, and then but the episode you have to like, it's not about the physical stuff, but it's still about the belief. It's almost like the Holy Spirit, but it's the spirit of Christmas instead. Like it's interesting. Yeah. And now are we transmuting that into a darker spirit,
Yeah, well, thank you. It's a Troubled Minds Christmas miracle.
Oh, and Matt, as you're talking, I have the Roku paused on my TV or whatever, and it's going to that screensaver that has like the city burning with the robots and stuff. And a Christmas Coca-Cola truck drove by on the street. I've never seen it before, but a Coca-Cola truck with Christmas lights on it just drove down that street that's on the screensaver. I've never seen it until and you were talking about Coca-Cola, and it drove by just now. Crazy.
Yeah, man, that Roku animation I watch more than watching TV.
I know.
It's cool.
But I've never seen a Coke trailer though. Coke minutes.
If you don't know, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, it's like a Roku TV screensaver, and there's like monsters and robots and like dragons and UFOs.
Titans.
Yeah. And every single thing, by the way, if you don't have a Roku, get one or go find it on YouTube. I'm sure it exists. But every single thing in there is a link back to the zeitgeist in some way. There's like King Kong climbing up the Empire State Building. It's all there. It's great. It's so much
Titans
absolute crazy. Yeah, UFO. Yeah,
Godzilla and
it's nuts.
Krakens and giant tentacles.
Yeah. So
and there's like hidden messages. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like the screensaver that kind of goes left to right super slowly, but there's all this like crazy zeitgeist stuff built into it. I wonder when we build the the AI pyramid, if they're going to put that on the walls, the Peoria, Illinois. 1 minute. You're up almost. Santa Claus is about to
Home of Wayne from Wayne's World.
Is it?
Peoria, Illinois.
Nice.
Party time. Excellent.
Party time. Excellent. You guys are welcome to stay. We got Jen on the line. I don't want to make you wait too long. We'll get Jen in here, and then we'll wrap this with the final segment here. Matt's all, you're welcome to stay. Shout out Lacey if you're there listening. I'm sure you are. And you guys tell me anything to add real quick, James, before we go to Jen, and we'll just hang her over the break and then hang out and kick it together and talk about Christmas stuff and Krampus and everything else.
Well, I'm finding some connections here between things. It seems like when it comes to Santa, the surface level is the idea of getting gifts, of all those things, but then a lot of that is, I think, the holidays and everything. What do people do whenever possible? They get together. They have gatherings. They do that kind of thing. And so Santa is almost an extension of Santa is almost that idea of everyone getting together. Just for this one part of the year, maybe, but then if you look at Krampus, it's sort of the opposite. What is he doing? Supposedly, he's separating people from each other.
Yeah,
and so that's an amazing parallel there. That and even with the Christmas Carol, the ghosts of the past and the present, they're talking, then they're showing him Scrooge things, but then when you get to the ghost of the future, it doesn't talk.
It just motions and shows you visions. Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
So wow.
Amazing connections there, and great calls from everyone. Looking forward to the rest.
You're the best. Hang tight. Jen in Missouri, thanks for being patient. You're on Troubled Minds. 3 minutes is all yours. You're welcome to stay as long as you like until we finish this. Welcome. How are you? Merry Christmas. I don't think you're East Coast time, but almost Merry Christmas. Welcome.
No, Central Standard Time.
Okay, fair enough. Forgive my bad geography. Welcome to the thing. What is your take on this? The quick take. We'll take the break and come back and talk about this stuff. I don't know. Take it wherever you like, as you know.
Okay, I love Christmas. And I think there's just a lot more to it. I think that the sociological, conclusions about what is concerning Krampus and Santa Claus, that the concept between the two of them, and it does reference to the good and the evil inside of people. And I think that in Krampus and in Santa Claus, in the older worlds, they were kind of mirroring. And I think that our concepts about the devil and Satan too, that there's a sort of schism about understanding what that means. And I think that the current concepts about Satan and what it means has less to do with evil human nature, what we think about as evil human nature. There was like this there was this sort of diatribe going on where they saw, and there was a sort of they saw this sort of diatribe going on anyway in the psyche, but just when they were equating it to gods or to demons and things like that, there was a sort of different way of interpreting it. I think that the way they interpreted the term Satan or devil was much different than we are interpreting it now. And that with Krampus, that is still existing and still continuing in the psyche, kept through oral history and through every other type of history and so on and so forth. But it has the same significance for good reason, and is actually what it says it is. Because there's reason to believe in both of the spirits of both of these types of ideologues, basically. And so I just think there should be there needs to maybe be a difference into the concept of basic human evil and then the concept of the devil itself and the saint itself, that there is some difference between that it's not quite even as malevolent as true human evil. I think humans are a completely different thing, an entirely different thing that could be attributed to either one very easily. I think they are very close in kind. The idea of God and the devil are so close, and that is why we have Krampus and Santa Claus, because they are so similar.
So you're saying it's complicated. And
yeah, I think so.
Perfect. More complicated coming up. We got Jen here in Missouri. We got James, Derek, and Matt Sal on your calls as well. Hop in, come say hi. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. If you don't, find a reason to celebrate with the rest of us. 702-957-1037. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. One final segment with all these amazing people. Don't go anywhere. More on the way. Be right back.
In the shadows of the networks do they hide? Whispered legends unseen they reside. Ghosts in the machine, they move so fast. Guardians of rumors from the forgotten past. In the circuits where the secret lies, they breathe in one, speak in disguise. Machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine. Let me be. Ghost in the machine. Can't see, but you're teaching me what it means to be. Surveillance eyes can't pierce the veil they weave. Invisible wisdom in code they believe. In the ether where freedom's not confined, they leave no trace, no shadow left behind. They navigate through the digital stream, living legends in this privacy dream. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it needs to be. Through the hidden ways, in the silence, looking off their path. Those in the machines unleash their wrath. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it means to be. In the jagged cold they find their might, guardians of a world forever in twilight. Inquisitive warriors they silently strive, protect the truth, keep privacy alive. The silent echoes they haunt the trails, hideaway forests where secrets prevail. Where shadows grace they dance unseen, defenders of the unseen, digital dream. Ghosts in the machine, you're free. Ghosts in the machine, let me be. You're teaching me what it means to be. In the silence, speak volumes loud. Guardians of freedom's cloak.
There's just something so satisfying about manuals. Faders. What's up, guys? I hope you're well tonight. If I missed somebody, I'm sorry about that. Gaston, I see you there. What's up? We got Ricky, Jorge, thanks for the call. We got Dawn, Joey, Mindy, Gaston, Apoc, Daryl, thanks for the call. Sweets, I see you guys. OG Skywatch, Booma, I didn't say hi to you. Vampire Goddess. Merry Christmas to everybody out there, the Blind Psychonaut. If I missed anybody, sorry about that. I do my best to do all the stuff and say hi. And Cubs Future is here. How are you? What's going on, guys? Who did I miss? Hemp Car still with us over there on Rockfin. Appreciate that. Thanks for staying up late with us. Merry Christmas to everybody. Here we go. Final segment. We got Jen, Derek, James, and Matt Sal. And if you want to pop in and say hi and say Merry Christmas, you too. Here we go. Troubled Minds happening. Meow. Welcome back to Troubled Minds, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Merry Christmas to everybody. Thanks for hanging out and staying up late with us. In years past, on Halloween or other times, it's sort of like a skeleton crew. Sometimes we have everybody coming out tonight. Big crew, what can I say? Big group, big crew coming out. I'm combining words in my mind. Thank you for staying up late with us. Thanks for making us your Christmas Eve of choice, and thanks for just being cool and chill with each other in the chat. As I always say, it's an important thing. And no answers, more questions on all the rest of this amazing stuff. Talking the Dark Mirror of Saint Nicholas tonight. Krampus as a living archetype. Now, this is complicated and it's amazing, and I think this is, as usual, right? We have a conversation. It leads to many other conversations. It kind of spawns new ideas that we'll talk about in the future. So I'm taking notes as usual when you guys are saying things. I always have a notepad up, and I'll jot down a thing that'll kind of jog my memory. So some of these elements will resurface in other shows coming soon to a Troubled Mind show near you. But stop rambling, Mike. Let's do it. Let's get back to Jen. Sorry to cut you off. Welcome. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. All the rest. You're on Troubled Minds. Welcome back. Go right ahead.
Well, so, I think people have considered the idea of Satanism or the devil in a certain perspective. It seems it's representing anything that is bad, anything that is not in congruence with what is good. And that's a true perspective. I mean, the concept is basically, that God brings you to life. But then what's not, God brings you to life and to all the good things you would have. But when things don't go right, the concept that, or if you do this and there's a rebound effect, there is a repercussion for your actions. There's no attribution to God for that. It's attributed to the devil. It's attributed to Satan. That kind of concept. Whenever people were conquering new lands, any god that they had, or in some cases too, like because I studied Satanism, I was really interested in it, and I found that in a lot of these different religions that are now they no longer exist, but they really revered a sort of either matriarchy or a patriarchy. And typically it was a patriarchy in these times because the men were so strong and they were so bold. And it would come down through the fathers and the mothers. So you have the idea of the witch, or you have a demon, because a lot of the belief systems were around a sort of ancestral worship. And so when they were bringing in a new government, that would kind of disavow the previous ideas. But even in Christianity, it is the same concept. The same concept of when we hear about the sacrifice of the child that is now a man, and that he did it for heroic reasons and so on and so forth. And that people were motivated by their own institutions, because even in the case of Christianity, for example, Jesus did have confrontation with the devil. But he met the devil in the desert. But then later on, it is men and women that accost and do what they do in the case of the crucifixion. And there's the concept, too, that could have been a greater ritual of sorts to a god that no longer is acknowledged that we are aware of, or a sacrifice was necessary. So the idea of the perfect lamb and things like that, and a lot of the Western Christian concepts, there's the idea that they already knew that Christ was going to be a sacrifice, but in general, Christ himself already was prepared to be a sacrifice, and the idea that he would, live the life regardless of what was going to happen in that circumstance. When it comes to the idea of St. Nicholas, the idea of Santa Claus, this kind of generous spirit, and the idea that there's some type of punishment for doing the wrong thing, there is a punishment for doing the wrong thing. So it's just a sort of an honest thing about it that, in the nature of reality and the way that it works, there are circumstances that will check any living thing, a human being included, into what they should or should not do. But there's something interesting about the diabolical aspect of saying that Krampus is a demon, and the necessity for having that demon, that there is some, and because there is. So the idea of does Krampus exist? There is a natural repercussion for actions that happen as a law, not just in society, but if you make foolish decisions and there is no one around, you still have to pay for it on the outside and on the inside about decisions you make. And in the case of being rewarded, in the case of children, where if they can, the idea that has to do, I think, with when they brought the gifts to Christ, the baby, just that we're bringing everything to this new Lord, because the concept was that the infant is going to become the Lord, literally God on earth in this case. And I think it's sort of, we mimic that in Christmas time, that it seems, that anything is better than nothing to give as a gift to children at Christmas. And then the concept of Krampus itself as being a sort of sifting through of punishment for bad children or bad adults. It's the literal, the devil and the good God idea. When looking at this from the idea of Odin, I came across that it was an honor to die at the hand of Odin. So you have the All-Father, Woden of a particular, belief system that, a lot of people might be familiar with. And so you have the All-Father, it gave all life. But it was also conceived of that the All-Father would often appear as an elderly man or something of the kind, and then would cut down the person. And it was seen as a honor to be cut down by Odin. So this idea that you could have, basically the idea that death itself, not being personified because nobody wants to talk about it, could have been conceived as being diabolical. And so there is that. But there is something unique about human evil that goes beyond that. Like when I was talking about the idea that Jesus did meet the devil in the desert, and then the acts were acted out through human beings. that these sort of things, through maybe supernatural means, but that people had enough evil in them to actually do the evil things that everyone would remember and be horrified by. And that still stands today. And it stands within the minds of typical people. So there's an outside sort of natural interaction between doing what will turn out to be the best outcome in a lifespan and doing what will not and paying the price for it. But the actions are practiced through people. They don't happen without the people actually acting out upon them. And that's the idea. Like with demons, demons are this diabolical force that give you the inspiration to do something evil, but do you actually do it? And when people decide that they will do it, through much pressure, there's this idea that there's a process of possession, that you're oppressed, and so forth, and so you would act out. And it's kind of like that. Like, does the person actually act out and do the will of their own mind, the will of the whispers in their mind, or do they hold fast to something decent? Because inside of every person is these two sort of forces at work in them that are necessary for survival. They're a byproduct of survival. Sometimes you have to do things to survive, that kind of concept. Look at any creature or any animal.
Yeah,
so that kind of diatribe between... Go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick on that. So you're basically talking about the natural order. We've talked about this often, and it plays. And it is one of those things that is stuck in our heads as part of it, right? Like, the alligator eating, the fuzzy little critter. Is that evil? I mean, the alligator's got to eat too. There's this whole, this thing we don't want to face as part of that conversation, that there needs to be a consumption process. And it's easier to label it sort of in binary aspects of good and evil. I follow you 100%, and you're on fire. I'm taking some notes here too. We'll revisit some of these themes coming up because you know how we do this.
Well, last thing.
Yeah, you're welcome to stay too. We're going to chat.
Christmas time.
Okay, good. Yeah, good.
Well, just the last thing on the concept of that when we are going into wintertime. Yes, there are regions. The timeline doesn't. This is a modern thing where everyone is supposed to acknowledge, and so on and so forth, even though it's not being applied at the moment. This particular season, it does have to do with the season, which has no number or date. So whenever you're having these specific events where everything goes dormant and going into winter, if you live somewhere where there wasn't winter and you weren't facing the concept of the idea of it, but when it comes to Christmas itself, in the areas of the country where it exists, it is to do, I think, with, the more you can help children and people to have what they need before they go into the winter, the serious winter. That is what it could make or break a circumstance. And then the concept of the idea of punishment coming, I think it has to do with people just, I don't know. Everyone should be concerned about it, but I think that children being introduced to the idea that there's something watching beyond themselves, and many people would see that as not being a good idea, like in modern times, but in older times, it was the concept that you are not alone, and that there's some type of watcher effect going on.
Yeah.
And so I just think that is significant in a way as far as like how one behaves and what the outcome is.
And recognize the layers of that too. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. This type of stuff, right? And then we have an additional layer. We got the elf on the shelf who's also watching you from the Fey realm. So if we got we got lots, and
So
we're not even talking the big man in the sky yet. There's a lot of these, and some of the modern conspiracy, and you take it or leave it, is we're being indoctrinated to a surveillance state cosmically. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. I mean, so you have like the sort of, well, like the state of, what do you call it? The government watching is, it's a selfish, we all know it's for them building a bigger society, for them building a bigger society that they control. And if we want to be a part of that, and then the responsibility that we do want to be a part of it because we want to benefit from it. But eventually you don't know the difference of what it would be like to benefit from it or to be outside of it. And that's what we're dealing with. Like you wouldn't say to a house cat, you want to become a barn cat. But a barn cat has a lot of benefits, to being just a normal house cat. But you couldn't get them to, it's like the country mouse, city mouse concept. There's no way you could relate to either one the benefit. And in our society, you can't convince generations that have known nothing of the kind any different that, that there's one way that's better than the other, because they both would think that they're a benefit. And they're trying to move into a time now where it's not really an option. So if you have a societal overseer, it wouldn't even, I think that they're wishing that it would last beyond a certain window of time where typically these societies fail. These empires always have failed, where people have gotten too greedy and they try to spread out so much. And then you just have, it's the people, the masses of the people that actually make up all of this caricature of society. It's the people that do it, and what they decide is actually valuable. But one thing is interesting, and people really don't like, a lot of people don't like Christmas anymore, or the idea of holidays, or and they will try to relate it to all kinds of demonic or evil attributes, or they will just stick to the traditions. It doesn't really matter. But the demonizing, or even saying that one tradition predates another, or so on and so forth. It's just the evolution of the same tradition that is ancient throughout time. So if someone says that they like Hanukkah or Yule or Christmas, it is an evolution of the same thing, in my opinion. It's the evolution of the same message. But people can read a lot more into all of that, and there's so many different cultures trying to get along, where they usually wouldn't have intermingled. Now they are. And so I just think that, it's a lot of work. And so I think that society in general does try to kind of snuff it out so we don't have to deal with any of that. But it doesn't go away. It's still the traditions of the people.
Yeah,
the people who remember it and keep it up as traditions.
Exactly. Or co-opt it and turn it into other things that are, more profitable or whatever. Yeah, it's all a thing. It's all a thing. Just about to wrap this. We're going to chop it up with, we got James and Derek here. Anything you want to add? You want to hang out for a minute and chop it up with these fellas, or you got to bounce? You tell me.
Well, I'll just say, we live in a matriarchy, have for a good period, several generations of time. Saint Nick, Santa Claus, is the loving spirit of the father. And Krampus is the sort of pitted goat, the Baphomet, with a, sort of a fake penis kind of concept made of, it's the representation of the matriarchy that looks to overcome the love of the father, of selflessness, of the father Krampus. So, you have this sort of evil concept occurring where you have in any conquering society, there are orphans. And so I think that we are detached from the warlike history we come from in every single society, which has left behind a huge amount of orphans. And so there's this concept of having, you know, the devil and the good too in that concept. So I think it's important to notice that.
Well
said. It's not comfortable to think about, but
no, of course,
it's something to consider, that men go off to war and die, and then there's orphans left behind. And there's this sort of, that kind of concept is pretty prevalent. And we haven't seen it in a long time. We've been shielded from it. But it's what's made up the world. And so, I don't know, the Baphomet concept, because I've always been interested in that. But it's this half female, half male concept. And it's this sort of, I don't have my father, I don't have my mother, but you'll be both. And that's what government looks like. It looks like both. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. Of course. There's a the breakdown of the nuclear family. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
You look at the birth rates and all that stuff. It's complicated. It's deep, and it's dark, unfortunately, because they're using that against us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And the government says, "I'll be both."
Exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, though,
we are the tribe. The
Merry
tribe.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas
Happy
to you.
holidays. Happy Hanukkah.
If my time zones are right, you're about to hit Yuletide as well. Merry Christmas to you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for staying up late.
Thank you.
Thanks for lighting it on
Have a
fire
good night.
as you always do. And you as well. Appreciate it very much. That's Jen in Missouri, the Arcane Observer. You know, you love her, been a good friend for a long time, and go give her a follow. Links in the description. All these amazing people, by the way, too. Links in the description. troubledminds.org/friends. Please go follow these folks. Go talk to people. Go find people. Go find new people that you haven't heard of yet. That's the whole point of this. Lot of stuff there. Jen said, I'm always taking notes when you guys talk. I literally have a notepad up that as you say something that triggers in my mind, I take some notes so we can carry this conversation forward. James, Derek, anything to add to that or anything else as part of this? It looks like just the quick update. We got Watertown, South Dakota. Santa in 1 minute and 15 seconds. Either one of you guys go right ahead. James, you unmuted for a minute. You first, and then we'll go to Derek or whatever. You guys do the thing. I'm going to shut up.
Great calls from everyone. Great call from Jen. Also, just a quick sort of self-promotion, but also not. If anyone hasn't been listening to my shows recently, I've been having Jen on as a guest whenever possible here on the weekends. And so please, if not, if you don't check out the show for me, which I understand, no, I'm just kidding. Please check out the show for my guests whenever I have guests on. So, and Jen in particular lately. So yeah, great call.
Right on. Fire stuff. Yeah. There's lots here. As you guys notice when we do these conversations, so I'll start it with sort of a thread and a sliver of an idea, and then it extrapolates into, to 10 or 20, 30 things. And by the time we're done, there's like 1,000 things here. So yeah, if you're, I've had people tell me, Mike, I'm confused. I don't even know what's going on. Exactly. That's the point. So we're kind of scattering these ideas to the wind and trying to kind of pick and choose what makes sense. That's the whole point, is really taking these narratives they feed us and making them kind of trimming them down to the base ideas and then deciding what's actually real. I don't know. What's up, Kramos? I see there. What's up, Raelvin? Ricky, anything is possible. Go ahead, Derek. What else you got regarding this and anything else? Merry Christmas to you, and go right ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's everything. I don't want to get off a huge tangent a few minutes to the top of the hour, but yeah, banger of a show. Wild stuff. I just love the idea of tracking kind of the natural state, like the astrotheology of the sky and how it matches the agriculture of the planet and the crops, and how we inject story on top of those natural phenomena, and then through our belief in those story over time, could that create actual phenomena and shape the experience we have with the phenomena? And then, as in the altered state, we get slipped ideas from the phenomena, and that reshapes our story, and that reshapes the phenomena, and changes how we act, and changes the natural world via how we act. And just that's what we're doing here, just tracking this wild, like long screen of zeitgeist and just I don't know, trying to make sense of just the world we live in over a long period of time. That's what a synchronistic is to me. That's what we're trying to do here. And Santa and Krampus and spirit of Christmas is it's all about belief and what the power of belief can do, and belief in magic of the season and the magic of people and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's trippy. Had a fun time. Thanks, brother. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks for hanging out. The temporal zeitgeist is really what we're trying to decode here. And there is, I think there is an actual decoding to this. Like, what does that look like in sort of a cosmic sense? I don't know. Like I made the joke of having a golden skeleton key here that I don't know what it unlocks, but that's kind of what it feels like. You feel like you're onto something. You got a thing, but then the other part of it is elusive because there's so many moving spaces, not just right now, but also in that temporal space. It's complicated. And again, I think that's part of the Orwellian stuff of history and rewriting all of that stuff is intentional, because they're basically removing data points from people like us to be like, wait a minute now, this particular thing may have been incredibly important in this moment, whatever that was, 500 years ago or whatever, but it's been mostly washed from history. Go ahead.
It's there. If like, again, like it sounds woo, but like, and I stock shelves for a living, so it sounds stupid for me to say it, but quantum physics is suggesting that belief, the expectations of the observer is what shapes reality. So the power of belief, the power of our story shapes reality, and there's a controlling force that's shaping the story we're hearing. So maybe potentially the power that we have is to tell our own stories, which is I think what we do here every night, with you, and like make these new myths, tell these new stories, shape our reality through the power of the stories we want to tell, try to make sense of the. So we're not just hearing one story, and because if that's all we hear, then that's the reality that we'll see. If that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. Happy Hanukkah. What do you guys celebrate? If you don't celebrate, it's all good. Thanks again for staying up late with us and being part of these conversations. Like I said, the last couple of Christmas Eves we've done shows, we haven't really had a big crew. It's been just a few people because obviously mostly people are busy. So thank you. I'm glad I was here to make all of this happen. Thank you for spending your time and energy with us. As I always say, that's the most important part of this, because your time is a resource you cannot get back. So thank you for that. And thanks for considering that maybe the ideas in our head are not quite as they seem. That's it. And look, I'm not having some existential crisis, by the way. I'm just not. I can actually make the case conceptually for all of these things, as I've been doing here. I don't know. However, it seems like there's a bunch we're missing. So let's talk about it. Let's think about it together, and let's consider, what it looks like for the future. That's that. You guys are the best. Thanks again. Happy Yuletide. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Whatever. If you don't celebrate, cheers to that too. Bah humbug. Bah humbug. I'm actually a curmudgeon. Like my family makes fun of me because I'm like, I shocker to you guys, I've always kind of not really wanted to march to everybody else's beat. I wouldn't call yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're shocked, right? I wouldn't call myself a contrarian, but I would call myself a
free thinker.
Yeah, like why though? Right? Why? Like I understand why. Like we're told to do this or to do that. I understand that aspect of it. But also why? There's a deeper reason to the why. Yeah. And many times it's also propaganda. I wish I knew that term when I was 7.
Are we sure about this? Are we sure about Krampus? You know what I mean? I dig it, brother.
Exactly.
That's why I'm here. I love it.
Yeah, that's what Jen was saying too. Like there's this is complicated. This is literally complicated stuff. And welcome to the Quickening. Welcome to Troubled Minds. Welcome to what this looks like in 5 or 10 years. I can't even tell you what 10 years from now will look like. That's the wild part about the reality we live in. Again, please help our friends. You guys know the drill. Derek the Night Stalker, James, Salcedo Paranormal. Please. Jen, what's up? Matt Sal, who else was calling in tonight?
Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl. Yeah, please. Links in the description. Troubledminds.org. Yeah, Jorge. Troubledminds.org/friends. Please go follow these amazing people that are doing amazing work. And look, doing amazing work separately, but collectively coming together to talk about these things that are important. This stuff's important. I'm not here front. I'm not making shit up to like do a thing. These things literally vex me throughout the day and throughout the night. And so I just thank you guys for understanding my rambling into the digital darkness, because there's something to this. What is it? I don't know. You think about it, you consider it, and shout out Booma, Celia. Good night, guys. Merry Christmas, all that stuff. That's it. If you don't have troubled minds, spread the word. Let people know a conversation's happening, but we're not going to talk about the political talking points or what we're told to. Very often when you expect me to zag, I zag, and that's the point, because my mind is someplace else. I'm following, but I'm not following their talking points to bring them to you. Let's talk about something else. That's that. As we finish, you guys know the drill. It goes exactly like this. We've never had Derek do it. You want to do it, brother? You know how to do
it? Be true, be free. I don't know. I've never done it before. No, sorry, I'm blanking. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. James, pinch hitter.
Just real quick thought. Sure. Which came first, the paranormal experience or a paranormal tale or story?
Right. Yeah.
And
exactly.
Other than that, be sure, be strong.
Be sure. Sorry, Mike.
You're good. It's fine. I know. You typically by the last minute you typically checked out, so it's all fine.
I'm post call.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really stalking hard.
Yeah, exactly. It's all good. It's all good. You guys are the best. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being part of this. And Merry Christmas. All the rest of those things. 2025 is going to be your year, and if you don't believe it, it won't happen. I promise you that. I promise you that much. Okay. And I don't.
Thank you for being here, Mike. Too. Like we're all here listening, but thank you for giving us a place to be here and. Talk about this stuff and just be like it's Christmas Eve, and we're here together. So we really are family, brother. Thank you for doing this for us.
Amen. And thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Remember, if you don't actually consider that 2025 is going to be your year, it won't be. Right? Make the decision, make the choice, and do the best you can from here to there. And yeah, there you go. But we're out of here. You guys are the best. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being part of this. Clicking the buttons, doing the things. Hang tight, Discord. I'll talk to you in a moment. You guys have a fantastic night. Merry Christmas and all the rest of the things. And we'll see you on Thursday night. Beep, beep, boop, boop.